I call this Coventry Town Council meeting to order. All members are present except for Lisa Conant. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next on our agenda is our audience of citizens. I'd like to say a little bit first that residents have the right to criticize policies, procedures, programs, and services, but speakers should stay on topic. And those topics should relate to town council business. Shouldn't single out any members, and I would hope you would be respectful. So who wants to speak may come to the podium and give us your name and address, please.
Howard Habering, 80 Cassidy Hill Road, Coventry. I take an objection to what you just said. This is a town council, and this is our only forum to express ourselves. After this, we remain silent. Years ago, we could speak out about anything you guys did. You took that away. Not you personally, that went away. What are you afraid of? Our town is in turmoil. We continue to make the press, and none of it's good. In my remarks, I don't enjoy doing anything that's negative. But when I can't express my remarks about the conduct of this town council, I'm asking you to tell me how I do it. How do I express my dissatisfaction for the continuation of articles like the January 2nd JI article was a council member who was asked to apologize who continued to attack the person? Is this a democracy? I spent time writing this. I'm not going to read it to somebody who don't want to hear about it. I'm going to go to the town. I'm going to ask them what the venue is. And if I have to, I'll print it in the press and pay for it. I hope you understand. It's not a joke. They're changing the system. I've heard people complain before. You call it a complaint, I call it a need for improvement. This call. Disgusting.
Kathleen Brightonwisher, 61 Barber Drive. The audience citizens portion certainly should call out town council members if they are misbehaving and are not representing Coventry in its best light. So I will speak my mind, and I will not be censored. I am completely perplexed at your lack of understanding. I've been trying to figure it out. The only logical explanation I'm able to come up with is that you, Mr. Matt O'Brien Sr., have not been listening to your constituents that have gotten up to speak before you. I feel obligated once again to get up and try to simplify this for you. I'm going to focus only on why I have been getting up and speaking about. Although from listening to others in the audience of citizens, I have a good understanding that I have been here mostly for the same reason as me. Let me be clear. I respect your rights to your opinions. I respect your rights to disagree with what Mr. Oros did when he nominated someone outside of the Republican Party to chair the Board of Education. Where I lose all respect for you is how you went about vocalizing your opinions by shouting out in the middle of a meeting. You're supposed to be a leader in this town. Do you really think it's acceptable for a leader to behave this way? And you, Mr. Matt O'Brien Jr., as another leader in this town, do you think what you did was appropriate by posting Mr. Oros' email address on Facebook page, a Facebook page that had nothing to do with Coventry? What was that going to accomplish?
This is town council business.
It is town council business
No,
because
it's not.
you are not acting in the best
I
interest
was
of our
not acting
town.
as a town council member at all.
You
As
have
a matter
not
of
been
fact.
acting as the best interest of our town.
You're out of order, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, I believe it's my turn to talk, not yours. So I think you're out of order. Is it not my turn to talk?
Yes, but you
So then I think you are out of order, and I think now you owe me an apology.
Town council business, please.
I think you owe me an apology, and now it's my turn to speak. Are you going to let me finish?
I don't
You're
think
not
the
in
chair
charge
is-
of this meeting, are you? You're not the chair.
The chair is calling you out of order, ma'am.
No, you called me out of order. So it's your turn to listen to me. Your behavior is unbecoming of an elected official. But again, what was it going to achieve by pushing his email address on somebody else's Facebook page that has nothing to do with Coventry? I did witness model behavior from your fellow council member, Richard Williams, who was at the same Board of Education meeting. He too disagreed with what had happened, but he got up in the proper format during the audience of citizens and spoke his mind, which is exactly what you should have done. So I'm going to continue to get up and say this as a fellow Republican. Shame on you both for your behavior. And I'm going to try to make this easier for you too, as I can clearly see you are not going to give Mr. Oros the public apology that he deserves, so I'm not going to even bother going there. You, Matt O'Brien Sr., Mr. Matt O'Brien Sr., still do owe those children an apology for what they witnessed. I am not asking you to apologize for your political convictions. I am asking you to apologize for the way you went about presenting yourself. You did this in front of children. Children you are supposed to be a role model for. It was wrong, and you know it. And this is a time for us to get up and speak our mind. And if you want me to keep going and telling you what I really think the town council should be doing and focusing on and listening to their citizens about, I will. But what you did was wrong, and you know it. And I want this added to the minutes, please.
I too will be speaking. Carolyn Arabolis, 132 North Farms Road. 2 weeks ago, Matt O'Brien Sr. posted a Facebook statement detailing the events that led up to the Board of Education meeting of November 14, 2019. This post was preceded by an article in the Chronicle and subsequently covered by the Journal-Inquirer. Also in that post, Mr. O'Brien was dismissive of the citizens who have spoken at this podium regarding that meeting. I am one of the unelected Democrats that Matt O'Brien Sr. referenced in his social media post. Am I to understand that because I was not successful in my re-election bid, that my voice as a resident and taxpayer of this town does not count at the audience of citizens? From Mr. O'Brien's online comments, it is clear he does not feel the need to listen to those of the opposing political party, and that he fails to grasp the intention and conviction behind a shared stated message that those parents who are of both political parties and who read the same prepared statement are united in solidarity with what they view as unacceptable behavior in our elected officials. While I understand that Mr. O'Brien is disappointed and angry with what he views as a betrayal by a fellow party member, what he does not seem to understand that as an elected official, he has an obligation to hold himself to a higher standard. He and his son, Matt O'Brien Jr., both failed at meeting that standard. Name-calling in a public forum and encouraging the harassment of another elected official are not the marks of leadership. Everyone who is speaking out against this behavior are not asking the O'Briens to agree with Bill Oros. The request is that the O'Briens take accountability for their public behavior and to put aside partisan politics in their roles as public servants to the entire town.
My name is Emma Eaton. I live at 41 Shawn Circle. I'm disappointed to be standing here again. at Audience of Citizens. I'm disappointed that neither of the Mrs. O'Brien have chosen to take responsibility for their actions at the November 14th Board of Education meeting. And I, in addition to many other town residents, am disappointed that you both are choosing to dig in rather than admit that you made a mistake. Further, I'm disappointed in your choice, Mr. O'Brien Sr., to try and lessen the validity and meaningfulness of the people who have chosen to speak out over your behavior in this statement that you released, somewhat despicably, on Christmas Eve. You chose to describe the people standing before you as wives rather than as people who stand on their own merits, and apparently as candidates with hurt feelings over not being elected. One of the wives that you disparaged is the wife of the candidate who lost to Bill Oros. And if anyone has a reason to have sour grapes and be angry with Bill, I would think that it would be that person. But she has been able, as a registered Republican, to set aside her own personal beliefs and recognize that what Bill did was a decision of conscience, and it was his choice to make. The descriptions are silly, for starters. They don't do you any favors. And we, all of us, everyone who has spoken at any of these meetings, all of the people speaking on Facebook, on the Coventry groups, we're all citizens of this town. We're all taxpayers in this town. And you were elected to serve all of us, not just the voters that you agree with. We're all Coventry residents. Plenty of things were said under people's breaths at the Board of Education meeting, things that the audio recordings, probably for the best, did not pick up. Your remark about Bill being a traitor was not among them. You are clearly audible on the Board of Education audio calling him a traitor. Your Christmas Eve expostulation made sure to give a long and rambling description about all of the ways that you believe that Bill Oros has done your party wrong. I, and every other person who stood here in the last 2 months to decry your behavior at the meeting, have been quite clear that your disagreement with Bill's decision is certainly valid and it's your prerogative. In fact, the very first time that I stood here in front of you on November 18th, I said the following: undoubtedly, everyone is entitled to their own personal opinions regarding Mr. Oros's decisions, be they in support or against. Each member of council and every citizen of this town has the right to their own feelings about what happened. Your statement that you were at that meeting not as a member of town council is ridiculous. You are a member of town council when you are sleeping. You are a member of town council when you're grocery shopping. You are a member of town council from the time you are elected until the next election is over. You don't get to decide in what way you are a town councilor. That is your role. It's a public figure. If you showed up at that meeting, and you did with a lot of other people, you were there as town councilor. What you say represents the town. And that's not okay. What you said is not okay as a town councilor. I additionally think it's important to note that while the people who are able to make themselves available to speak at these meetings were a small number, overwhelmingly in town Facebook groups, which are now sort of the accepted coffee klatch of society, we are seeing that people believe that you made a misstep and you should apologize for your behavior. So here I am again. I'm going to ask you again to consider that you represent the entire town and not just the small contingent of your Republican Party, and that you apologize to the students and families who witnessed your behavior that night. Disagree with Bill's decision. It's absolutely your right. But recognize that the behavior displayed was unacceptable as a town councilor and take responsibility for it. One of the comments that I saw on Facebook was from someone who said, I like the guy who decides to serve his community rather than just his party. So that comment was made in reference to Bill Oros, but I think it's worth you thinking about also. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that wants to speak? Hearing none, I close that portion of our meeting. Do I have a motion to accept our minutes from December 16th?
So,
Have a second? Second. Thank you, Lisa. All right, I had read them. Am I on the right one? Nope. Okay. Does anybody have any changes, corrections, or additions to these?
Go ahead, John, you know you're ready. I'll indicate that I do, but you know,
Oh, go ahead.
there are
Start on
others
page
who
one.
are
Start on page one.
There's a lot to go around.
They're lengthy, so let's,
Sure. Okay, so right at the top there, in one dot, Julie Blanchard. Second line down, right in the middle, after the words town hall, I think there should be a period and a capital T to start the next sentence. Moving down to the third line of that first paragraph, towards the end, just before Jennifer Beausoleil, I think are there two N's in Jennifer Beausoleil, in the Jennifer? Two N's. So that should be fixed, and the word "and" should be moved to just before the last person in the list, Jean Marchand. Third paragraph, middle of the first line, it says 7.25. I think they mean 7:25 as in PM, so a colon.
are all of your changes like that? Do you have them written? Could we submit them to the clerk?
I don't have them all written,
Okay.
no. I just have, some of it is just highlighted sections where
That's
I
fine. Go
can't
on.
really figure it out.
Go on.
Yeah. Under 2, call to order and roll call, the word hall in town hall annex at the very end of the first paragraph needs another L to spell hall. That's all I have for the first page. Who's up next? Oh, there you go.
Let's like do one page at a time.
Yeah.
I just think on where it lists who's present, I think that who these people are representing, so Board of Ed members, Jen Beausoleil, Mary Portman, Superintendent Dave Patron, just because it says, the full council is present as well as, but it's not clear necessarily to everybody who these other people are and why they would be there.
Especially not over time. I could totally understand your point. 10 years from now.
So just to indicate, John L. Sesser, town manager, I don't know actually if he's typically for who's present, does it typically say town manager?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Town manager, David Petrone, superintendent of schools, Robert Carroll, school finance director.
Director of Finance or something like that.
Attorney Kevin Roy, Board of Ed attorney Kevin Roy, and then all the rest would be Board of Ed members, just to clarify why they were there.
Kevin Roy is
He's the Board of Ed.
BOE
Yeah.
attorney.
Yep.
And everyone else is just members, not just.
Oh, actually Christina Williams, not Christy, right?
Right.
Or is that what she goes by with a K?
Christina.
Does she spell
With a
it?
C.
Yeah, that's right. So Christina Williams.
CHRISTINA.
HRISTI.
N-A.
Yeah.
Christina.
Oh, INA, okay.
Anything else on page 1, Lisa? Anybody else?
Punctuation-y type things, but I like that idea that maybe we could get those in it, just
Yeah. I tried
maybe do a
doing
separate
it.
document to,
Or you do Google Doc.
well, we can't do that between us, because that would be an illegal meeting,
Yeah.
but somebody who really likes this stuff
Even for minutes, you can do that.
could maybe do that ahead of time
Right.
and send it over.
Julie has one set to pass.
Yeah, I did it with one of them, not this.
Or we could all just send ours, just those grammatical things to
If
Julie, and
it's-
she could
yeah.
incorporate it into something, which would streamline.
Page 2,
John
John.
thinks we're gonna miss.
Oh, we're gonna do each.
No, I just don't know how the back and forth will happen there.
Yeah.
That'll leave the
We'll have to
decision.
figure that out.
That'll leave the end decision on how it Probably not gets as bad as written.
We
and
should
voted
send it to
on and
steering.
passed. You're hilarious. I'm just saying, that'll leave the decision of what it gets decided as to whoever is the last word, so.
No.
Still would have to come here.
Somebody would
You have to
proof it, and then it still has to go, that proof version
come
would
back.
then
Comes
still go to approved.
To us,
Okay.
just like you're getting it tonight in your
Right.
packet. But if I had
So-
the chance to look at it once and maybe eliminate some of these issues,
Sure.
it would make this procedure a little more streamlined. That's all.
I'm down with that, so
So we'll try to do that.
would that delay the minutes to yet a
That
further
would not be
meeting?
my plan. Nope.
Okay.
When I got them, I think I got them back to John with a few hours later that afternoon.
We might be overestimating how many things we're gonna find here, so.
Right.
Well, in that
I don't think
case,
so.
there is
Did you
an
read it?
apostrophe that needs to go away.
Oh, boy.
Are there any major substantive changes?
You want to
other
start
than-
with that?
Just again for the
Even
record, this
one-
was taken off the video.
Right.
So,
Understood.
yeah.
So do you want to do those grammatical things or just stick to the substantive, where things need to be clarified?
I still stand by even one comma
Yeah.
can change the meaning of the whole thing. So
Okay, so O'Brien's,
I'm not going to give
under
you a famous
audience of
example.
citizens,
Is S apostrophe?
should be no apostrophe. At the end of Howard Haberman's comments, Haberman is affronted by the actions of the O'Briens is just plural, it's not possessive.
Okay, there's something on the next page. Are we there yet? Nothing on page 2, Joe?
I kind of went through that and said that's their comments largely.
Okay. Page 3.
I do have some at the bottom of page 3. Does anybody have anything about that?
No, last paragraph, third line.
Last paragraph, a whole bunch of lines.
Okay, go ahead.
So, yeah, let's start at the third line, donate funds, purchase equipment. I want to insert the word or a slash. I'm open to discussion.
What line? I'm sorry.
To purchase
Third
equipment.
line.
Oh, to purchase, yep, I already got that one. Yep, that's good.
Oh,
No, I just
the
meant I
word
marked it on
to
here.
works as well.
That's
yes,
what I put
that's
was
fine.
to, yeah.
Or, sure.
Oppenbrauer is spelled wrong though, too, above that.
Yeah, Optenbrow.
And sergeant, that was a spelling word. And I misspelled it, so I've never forgotten.
How do you spell his name?
Oppenbrauer, isn't it B?
Opdenbrow.
Yeah, she's
That's
Oh, she got it right.
That one's right.
Okay.
And that's fine.
Okay,
In the
sorry.
paragraph,
So just sergeant.
So just sergeant.
Yep.
in the
I see.
paragraph above that, it says Officer Ted Optenbrow, so it should be sergeant there as well. Moving to the end of that line, that's the end of the third line. It says express their appreciation of the efforts.
Appreciation.
Appreciation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth line down. Their firearms training program with a, it says simmunitions, and this will be a recurring thing. It's simunition. Is the name of the thing. I went and looked it up.
Couldn't figure that out either.
Simunition, as in simulate ammunition. Squeeze those two together and make their brand name of simunition.
So there should be a U between the
Correct.
M and N.
Yep.
And that's happened several times, he's saying in the paragraph. If you just-
It'll go through to the next, till the end of that topic, really. So with a simunition system, I think the S can come off of both simunitions and systems. Continuing there, can just continue that sentence on to the next line. It says projectile from the handgun, comma, and is. We'll just make it read. And is used, used throughout the country, law enforcement, military training. Well, I don't agree with the grammar in one line, but in the interest of getting less looks from my fellow counselors, we'll move along.
Probably said it that way.
Sure. Second line on the next page, if everybody's ready to go to the next page. And it's, again, the simunitions, but this is more than just changing that word. So where that word
Where are you?
appears, I'm sorry, the second line on the page, from the very top of the
Oh,
page.
yeah, got it.
So it says simunition,
Mhm.
take the S off of that word, and add the word conversion in front of the word barrels. The cost of 2 simunition conversion barrels is approximately $1,000. I'll just stick with it for this topic, but I promise I'll pass the baton to any takers on future ones.
You're doing fine. Things were expressed.
Just giving him looks.
Yes.
Who's doing that?
Who's giving them looks?
Who's
giving you looks?
Thanks.
You go.
Oh, please. I guess we'll refer to tape later. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
So under the discussion there, thanks were expressing. I think should just be expressed. And then on the next line down that, next line below that, sorry, it says there is a conversion kit that says goes on the barrel is incorrect. I looked this up as well. It contains a special barrel for the gun.
Replaces the barrel.
the kit that you're buying, the cost of the kit is a replacement barrel. They take their live ammunition barrel off, and they put this special simunition barrel on, and then they hold their gun the same as they normally do.
There is a conversion kit that replaces the barrel.
There, yes. Replaces, sure, absolutely. That's another way to do it, I'm happy with that. Not married to any of these things.
Special ammunition is purchased.
Yeah,
Give it a.
yeah, sure.
Give it a verb.
I like what you did there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th line down. The very first word "how" can just be crossed out.
Yep.
You concur. Good. Later in that same line, towards the end, a couple of words before the last word, environmental, I think it should just be have instead of has. 3 lines below that, there's a sentence toward the end of the line that starts simnitions, and I'd just like to add the word "the" in front of that, and of course fix simunition. And that is the end of that one, and I pass the baton.
There's no comma in the last line of that paragraph?
You know what, there were lots of things, I did tone it down.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything on this page?
The last paragraph, the 1, 2, 3, 4th line, it says assessor stated that the bottom line, if, it should be of. Every property went up by the same value, then the mill rate would go down by a proportional amount.
Yep, I had that.
And John,
Yeah, this is one of those where I highlighted a section.
I wanted to put total, so an increase in the total assessment does not equate to an increase in tax? Or just in an individual, I'm not sure what the sentence is referring to, so. In an individual's assessment, or one property's assessment, or just to make a sentence out of it, I'm not.
Just cross it out.
It's an important statement.
Well, it is instructive.
Yeah.
The sentence is meant to be instructive when it was said, and it's great if it's still in there because...
The intent of the presentation was an increase in your
in a property's assessment.
Or property's assessment.
A property's assessment,
Exactly.
let's do that. So a property's, possessive, a property's assessment does not equate to an increase in taxes.
I don't know where you're at.
I'm sorry, it's the fourth line starting with an increase in the assessment, under 9D, 1923.
Are you saying a property?
So increase in a property's assessment does not equate to an increase in taxes, or may not increase, I guess.
Doesn't necessarily.
Doesn't necessarily, let's do that, because does not equate, because it could.
Well, you have a sentence, but as your value went up, it doesn't.
Right, you explain it.
Does not, should not necessarily.
Necessarily.
Not should be there. Does
Oh,
not.
gotcha.
Does not instead of doesn't.
It does not necessarily.
Does not necessarily equate.
No, I'm on a different sentence.
So,
Wait,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th line down, but if your value went up, it does not necessarily mean you will have an increase in taxes.
Okay.
Does not.
Because otherwise it says it does necessarily mean.
On the 6th line of that paragraph, same paragraph, the line that begins proportional amount. Anybody want to take a stab at what goes on after the word amount? I want a period there and cross out the rest of that sentence. But
No, so
if there's meaning
The whole
that
sentence
needs to
is-
be fleshed out, that's
So
fine.
what the meaning is that the mill rate will be impacted, number one, by the assessment, but then also by what happens in the next year. So that he doesn't want people to understand that in the next year, the increase in the mill rate couldn't occur because of the budget. I'm not saying it says it correctly, but that's...
No.
that's the
I
point
propose
he's
that
trying
you
to make.
provide something that fleshes that out a little. That'd be great.
Is this all a byproduct of overly explicit minutes?
Yes.
So that might be a future conversation. Might also make that
To
job a
work
little
with
easier.
them to say, this is what we need, want.
Right.
Actually, I mean, what it says, I understand. I don't know if anybody else does.
I do.
So the second line up, or the
So,
third line?
I'm sorry.
Did I say it?
I'm gonna try to come
He's
up with something.
wordsmithing something.
Yeah, I'm gonna
okay.
try to come up
To
with
flesh that
something.
out.
So,
About add in the expenses for the next fiscal year.
or the impact of the following year budget.
Either of those would work.
Impact of the following year budget.
Then add in the impact of the following year's budget.
So it says then add in, yes, the impact of the following year's budget. I guess
That's-
that would be possessive. yeah.
Much more clear. Thank you.
Sure.
I thought it was just awkward wording when you just continue right after that. Some people have been paying over. I think we commonly refer to that as overpaying.
Overpaying.
And then following right along in that paying under, we could just call that underpaying. And I do understand that these were prepared from a videotape, so maybe that's the way that it was said. So, again, it goes back to Lisa's point that she raised about
Well,
this being more of a transcript in this case for this meeting.
if you're worried about the reading of this later years, some people have been paying over in taxes or overpaying in taxes. They've been paying what was appropriately designated in the last revaluation. They're not actually overpaying. The statement is not correct, is what I'm saying.
You know, that's another valid point. That is true, although there is the meaning behind that.
Right.
Still should be expressed somehow that if there was a virtual world in which every day every property was reevaluated,
Right.
then their over or under wouldn't exist. But if you can figure a way to capture that so it's more accurate, believe me, I get your point. It's true. They paid what was due at that date.
I don't want people to think because if you overpaid, then give me back my money.
That's right. No, I do understand.
Because of the change in valuation over time, some people have been paying more in taxes than they may be in the future. I don't know.
How about just striking the whole sentence?
That's fine.
Get rid of it.
That's always a way to deal with it. It does lose the illustrative nature of it. But okay.
I don't know that it takes away
It's
from
not
the
really
minutes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's more in the presentation on that, in Mike's presentation. I'm sorry, Assessor Taylor's presentation.
So what do you want to do?
He took it out.
Strike
Struck the line.
You can strike there is no one statement. The
Yeah,
next
strike
words
that
on
too.
there, can you strike that as well? Unless somebody
Or
wants to
just
shed
put
some light there.
That's good.
I did have a question about the 5% figure there in the second to last line. I thought we were in the neighborhood of 3.7% commercial.
That
Or
might
is
have
that
said 5,
They did say 5.
he did?
but I
Okay.
think it's 3.6 or
It's
3.8.
3.6 or 8, yeah.
Okay, so this gets to what he said.
What he said was wrong.
Got it.
But that's what he
So,
said.
okay.
So we could do a footnote.
Well, he said about, so it depends on how you determine about.
Okay.
I have just a question right before that, and just because it could be correct and I just don't know what it, I'm not familiar with it. It says, because the grand list is rising, it is likely our mill rate will softly go down.
John said that.
That's a term
Or
of
Mike-
art,
Did Mike say
softly
that?
go down?
Did Mike
I don't know
actually
who
say
said
that?
it, but is
I
that
didn't
what
want
we-
to think I
John
was going to
probably said
like
it.
plummet.
I think John said it to note that these will be
Okay, so
small
it's just the
changes.
idea
It's gonna be a
that.
small change, yeah.
Okay, it could have been a term of art that goes with the,
I don't remember saying it, but
how an assessor's.
it would work.
Maybe you were being quiet when you were saying it.
Well,
That's
you
softly,
guys-
softly,
spoken softly, very good.
It's hard for me to get that word.
Okay. And I do think in the last line there, that we need a word, people who are complaining about how much commercial industrial, that just gives it meaning. How much commercial
That's
industrial
how
we
much
are
or how
getting.
little?
Yeah, I don't think that's the right
I think
word.
little fits.
Oh,
Better.
well, much is
Or it
kind of
depends on your
encompassing.
stance.
So little is evaluative term, but much,
No, so John was saying that some people are complaining that we're going too commercial.
Right.
That's actually what this is supposed to
Right.
say.
Yeah.
too commercial?
That's what John's
Yes.
saying, yeah. And then he explains,
Yes,
but we're at the
you're
bottom
right.
of the
Yes.
state. We're not anywhere near too over commercialized.
So how do you want to?
It actually says it.
Yeah.
We're complaining about how
Final
commercial
line.
industrial we are getting. Oh, you know what, that's okay. Leave it alone.
It works.
It works. It
It's
works.
because we weren't sure of the meaning, that's,
Yep,
that's fine.
it works now.
Yep.
Any corrections on the corrections?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I
We
found
have
none.
another separate meeting for that, I think. That's how we gotta do it. You want to put an and between Roxbury and Kent or something?
I'm all the way
They're notes.
flipping pages. I'm all the way flipping pages to 7.a.
Whoa.
Council Chairwoman Julia Blanchard.
and was well attended?
On the second bullet, where it says LECC, I just want to add the word first at the end of the line, where it says was held the Thursday of the month, so it's the first Thursday of the month.
Last bullet had was between and well attended.
I concur.
Start over, John, please.
Me,
Fourth.
mine?
Yes,
Oh.
yeah, what was it?
So second bullet under
Yeah.
7A,
Mhm.
it says the meeting was held the Thursday of the month, I'd like it to say the first
Okay.
Thursday of the month.
And the fourth bullet just add was between and well.
And was first. Thank you.
Under hand, the third bullet, oh, you got something before that? Go ahead.
No, it's that one.
Oh,
But since it's something I said I was going to correct it.
go ahead.
I don't think
Feel
it
free.
matters.
Feel free.
Third line down in that third bullet, towards the end of the line where it says the flags, plural, over Route 31, it was just one flag. So just take the S away. Is that the same one?
Yes?
Alright.
Bottom of the page under Thomas, the third line, I actually was the one that, maybe you said it too, John, I don't know, but I did say that Teddy will be missed. But I don't know if John, did you actually say that, John, or? Okay, I said it.
I believe that you did.
So we're taking out Elsesser?
Just change Elsesser for O'Brien
Or
Senior,
senior,
please.
okay.
Could you put it, that's both? 'Cause I think
Yep, I don't know if John said it, if he did, that's
I
fine.
just don't remember. So just-
I think you did, just put it both.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then we all agreed.
Yes. Look at that.
So maybe the council all agreed that Teddy would be missed.
So just above that, I'm waiting to see, I'm sorry, I'm waiting. Just above that, the last bullet under hand,
Take out the D. Oh, no.
let's see, where is it? Third line down, starts 14 towns in the state.
One of the only 14 towns in the state.
And then I wanted to add the words, to achieve sustainable, I'm sorry, to achieve silver certification for sustainable CT. So it's add, to
Well,
achieve
so-
silver
How about a
certification.
comma?
Read the one before it, John, because it says
Yes,
the silver
I know.
certification. So it says we're one of only 14 towns to achieve that. That's
It
all you
doesn't
gotta-
say that.
No, that's all you got to say, I'm saying. Just say we're one of only 14 towns in Connecticut to achieve that. Because right before it says, we got presented with their...
I do understand there's a.
Right before this, we got
Yes.
presented with their silver certification, so. And I think Coventry was one of only 14 towns to achieve that.
So we
In
are
the state,
one
to
of only.
achieve.
14 towns in the state to achieve that, or to earn that, or...
But now we're going to, for some things, well, I guess because I'm here at the table, I can agree to it. We're doing not what was said and now we're changing to what was meant.
I think
You know what I
I
mean?
think you've been doing that through the whole thing here.
I'm just saying that.
You're trying to correct what somebody's going to read in the future, that's what you're doing. So that's okay with me, I'm not saying it's wrong.
One of only 14 towns in the state to achieve that.
Silver
That
certification.
level of
Just restate it.
success, how's that?
That level of success. I'll take Matt's words. That sounds
There you
great.
go.
I'm sorry, Matt Senior's words.
Under Thomas, the first bullet, we wanted to recognize the loss of Tim Eckert's, publicly not recognized, wanted to recognized. Just eliminate the D on recognized, please.
One of the only one of,
Coventry was one of only 14 towns in the state to achieve that level of success.
And I'd like, the next words right there, I have some other stuff to
Go ahead.
work on.
success without the silver, sustainable CT.
You don't need,
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. I understand what he's doing. He's trying to make it less redundant. Streamlining these notes. These
We do
minutes.
speak in redundancies.
Yes.
Yes.
Sometimes we speak more than once over redundancies. Sometimes we even do it 3 times.
We have
To be redundant.
redundancies.
So the next words there are items surfaced, and right now it says that are sustainable and that will save the town money.
Items that were discovered during this process are
No,
sustainable.
no, I already have a thing to say.
Oh, okay, good. Thought you were asking.
Nope. Items surfaced during the process. So strike the words that are sustainable and it should then read items surfaced during the process that will save the town money.
So you don't want to say they're sustainable, that's fine.
Well,
They are, I mean, that's what they
I
said.
think that, along with your redundancy, not restate that.
Okay.
Next words down there, next line down, says also attended the workshop on housing, how to develop low-income housing and housing alternatives. I would just like to take the first instance of the word housing out of there.
So attend the workshop, period?
On how to develop.
Oh, in continuous sentence.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Get rid of the period.
Yeah, I'm sorry, get rid of the period as well.
Okay.
Capitalize the how.
Uncapitalized how.
Uncapitalize the how. Yes, thank you. Anybody else?
Top of the next page.
LoCIP, it's an easy one.
LOCIP. LOCIP is LOCIP.
All caps.
Local Capital Improvement Plan, yeah.
And I don't think it's plural for the LoCIP or the balances, correct? Is that?
LoCIP balances, yeah.
Actually, there are multiple balances in LoCIP remaining, so I think the S is okay.
Okay. So then the next sentence.
It's not one- it's
Talks
not
about
one.
it right near there was about 105,000.
What's the plural of LoCIP?
available. I guess it doesn't preclude it from me.
Is it, do you really add an S?
Capital improvement plan.
So you want to say the town's LoCIP account balances? So that would probably be clearer. LoCIP account
The
balance.
town
Excuse me.
And
possession.
bless you.
Thank you. LoCIP accounts balances?
LoCIP account.
Well, there's several accounts, so you have to say accounts. Maybe hard to understand, but it's true.
So it's LoCIP accounts balances?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's local capital improvement accounts balances.
Accounts balances.
Yes, because there's several accounts, yeah.
Actually, with the state, we have one account.
Well, it was presented as each
We have projects within.
project within has a balance, and that's what she was presenting to us.
So wait, so are those, I'm sorry, I'm looking at you because I think you might have the answer.
Do not.
Those are account balance. I mean, those are the project
account
balances.
balances.
The account is really just the one overall account, right? I'm asking, not telling.
It depends if you're looking at the state level or on our.
So if you're looking at our accounts,
So
there are
I
several
think it
accounts
could go
under
either way.
LoCIP, so that's how we were presented it. But I don't care if you take the S off, just take it off. Go ahead, let's keep going.
On what? LoCIPs?
Just, no, accounts.
All the S's.
Oh, take the
Take
S.
LoCIP account balance, that's fine.
Okay,
And take out the S in balances then as well.
okay.
Doesn't matter.
Under, oh, this is yours, I have a little under yours, so if you want to take that under 7D, if you have anything.
Probably didn't find it.
So first line, they will be approving these shortly?
Where are you?
Under, you just said under Matthew Junior.
What page? Oh, 7D?
7D, first bullet, end of the line, add BE, B.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
The second bullet, I had, let's see, what am I trying to do here? Steering is recommended that the Insurance Advisory Committee, that be dissolved. So just eliminate that on the fourth line in the second bullet, just eliminate that.
That's what I did. Can we stay on that bullet for a second?
Sure, go right ahead.
The top line of that, towards the end, it says is no longer active, and I think that and should really be as the town no longer uses insurance agent broker.
and the town no longer,
No, I think and works.
Is no longer active and the town no longer. Yeah, you know what? It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
You get in an editing mode and you just start looking for stuff. Sorry.
is it a capitalized town there?
Good. It would be proper. If you wanted to suggest
Capital
that.
T on town.
Any more on that page, do you?
I have one.
Okay.
Third bullet, end of the first line, the word personnel needs to be there as part, capitalized, as part of the name of the board, which is Personnel Appeals Board. It's, the word is missing.
Do we need to add the word person?
Members, any remaining members of the Personnel Appeals Board, maybe?
Sure, yeah, you can change.
That personnel shouldn't be capital if you leave it as personnel.
No, I'm not saying, I'm saying it needs to be there listed as part of the name of that board, the Personnel
Personnel
Appeals
Appeals
Board.
Oh, you
So
increase-
there it's part of the proper noun. The
But I
one,
think-
and then
Any
Lisa, I think,
members
just
of the
suggested
Personnel Appeals Board. There you go.
to change it to members instead of the lowercase personnel that was there.
So, but personnel is going to be capital now, so then it's going to
Correct.
become part of appeals board. Take
Correct.
out the of the, so it's members
Oh,
members of the Personnel Appeals Board. That's how it's got to read. So you got to move personnel.
Members.
No, well,
No, just
you
change
still have to
Personnel
address personnel
after
as the
No,
people
it's
being
any
informed.
remaining members of the
Members.
Personnel Appeal Board.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay.
Yeah, that works.
Appeals, right? Correct?
Appeals.
Appeals
yes,
plural.
Correct.
One, two, three, fourth bullet. Fourth line down, starts with the word research. Currently says research to direct the question through the town manager.
Yeah.
So we'll recommend that questions requiring research.
Be directed
I
through.
think be directed
Through.
through the town manager would be the right way to state that. And I think that's what I heard.
Be directed.
Be directed through the town manager. At the very end of that same bullet, where it says, Mr. Hand would like to ensure that all information gathered in this manner is disseminated to all council members. I believe I said the word simultaneously. That was kind of the thrust of what I had to say, was everybody needs to find out at the same time what the answers to any request for information are.
I think that's ridiculous, but okay. Well, if I ask a question, that means she can't answer me until she gets in front of everybody, according to that.
Well, that's what he said.
I know, I disagree
Well,
with
that
that.
has to be hammered out at steering.
Okay.
I think it's referring to emails.
Right, so when an email goes out with the answer, it should go to all of us at the same time as coming. May even be somewhat practice.
So are we changing that to simultaneously at the end?
Yes, please.
Is that it for that page?
Yeah, I mean, anybody else? I can't be the only one. On 7D2, appointments. 7D2A. I think it's just a copy-paste thing going on here. The second line under motion, it says, I recommend the council approve the appointment.
This one is important.
Are we good?
Yeah,
Right,
sorry.
cool,
yeah.
sorry. No, that's okay. It says approve the appointment of Aline Lynch. It's Aline Hoffman.
Good catch.
And then under the next one down, 7D2A, Senior Housing and Alternative Study Committee at-large member Winkles. The full name of that board should be, or the committee should be the Senior Housing Alternatives Study Committee, just like it was under the one up above.
What's it missing?
It's missing the word study committee.
Here, study committee, so it's this right here. She can name the committee here, and they stopped instead of putting
okay.
that in there.
I'm looking up here, I'm like, it's there.
Yeah.
Right, on the first one it's there, the second one it wasn't. That's why it jumped out at me. Turning the page. Second paragraph.
The next page, I got one first line, want to start there?
Oh, go ahead. You have one above that? Jump in.
On the first line, asked to get some information about changing the paramedics contract. I think I would like it to say the changes to the paramedics contract. No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's, I'm down. We're trying to do it in a somewhat linear fashion. I hope that's helpful to our clerk. So the next paragraph right there, the second paragraph, Williams asked about the CHS walls code compliance. The words building committee should be inserted for the full name of that committee. Further down in that, geez, I can see you count from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines from the bottom at the end of the line.
What's the first line in that, first word in that
To
line?
work.
No.
Is it their own?
Yes, to work.
Okay.
But I don't know if yours are always printed the same as ours, I'm not sure. But it says to work with the Blasi to understand if the amount of rebar we do have, then it starts to say in the span average out areas that may need re-engineered. I think there's some room for improvement there.
So I
don't know exactly what it is.
I added 2B, need to be re-engineered, first of all.
Sure, that part is,
We do have in the
Good.
span average out areas that may need to be re-engineered. That might work.
wait a second. But
Yeah, I have that marked too, because I don't
But the
understand.
span average out areas, I'm actually on the committee and I've been in the meetings, and that That's gobbledygook right there.
So-
The span, what, it's the part.
Who said this?
The average of the span, it's like there's certain,
Formulas?
yeah, it's the strength of the total wall.
Span
So at any
average.
one spot may be under, but if the total wall is strong enough.
So is it more like if the amount of rebar we do have in the span,
Comma.
Averages
comma,
out.
averages out areas that may need to be re-engineered?
Or
Is that better,
averages
just a
out
comma?
in
There's an
areas?
example.
If the amount of rebar, so to work with, to understand, if the amount of rebar we do have in the span averages out areas, in the span,
I think the comma works.
And
I'm not sure.
I'm not taking it.
Is it that
Not
they
taking
average out in these areas? Yeah,
Go
strike.
to cross it out, you could strike it as well, but
Is it important?
that, I mean, it was,
It's a-
the reason for
Lots
that
of
section
minutes.
is talking about the rebar stuff, but yeah,
I don't think it's important to minutes.
okay.
You
You can
take-
strike
strike
it, you can do what you want.
The entire sentence?
Yes.
It's something that, as it gets refined, will come back, so.
Sure,
that's-
yeah, that's true. So, next paragraph down, and several times from here through a whole section, John Elsesser's last name is misspelled. Spelled like assessor, so, or Elsesser, it's Elsesser. So, let's give John the respect he deserves.
Been added in a lot.
Wait a second.
So before that, in the paragraph above, if you go to the fourth line from the bottom, I had trouble with the wording, so I'm going to see if this will help you. So it says to be destructive work. So it says, in some cases, there is going to have to be destructive work, or there may be some exoskeleton membrane that can be used.
It's weird, you could tell this was from transcript. I think this was a question that was asked kind of in the middle of a sentence.
Or determine if there is some.
Sure, however you want to put it.
How's that?
Or strike it.
Yeah, I don't think all those little details need to be in the minutes. It's just the basics of what's going on with this project and the fact that we're at the point of meeting with the engineering firm. The committee's going to have to, might return to the council.
Unfortunately, I think this is just where we're at with this, with the minutes in front of us. They were like a transcription from tape. So what we have in front of us tends to have all that.
But, so are we allowed to agree to strike some of that stuff that's
Yes.
confusing and not relevant?
Well, so that particular line actually tells people what the options in the future may be, so I don't know if you really want to just, I mean, if you're going to keep the whole rest of the sentences.
I'd be comfortable if you wanted to clean it up a little and make it say at least what you remember there. That'd be fine.
So I would say destructive testing versus work.
Okay.
Sure.
Or in the repair, there may be some exoskeletal membrane that can be used to strengthen the wall.
These committees, when they meet, there are minutes, correct?
Yep.
And they're available online.
Yes.
So for folks who see our minutes,
I'm waiting.
is there the potential for them to then refer to the minutes of these specific meetings to get the additional information they might want?
If it contains the same detail.
And if it happens, and this is not a disparaging comment at all, I just noticed the minutes for those seem to show up a little slower than, say, town council minutes or Board of Ed minutes. They show up rather timely. Some of these other ones might, call me out if I'm wrong on that. I think I remember the minutes might show up more casually.
Also, if they only meet once a month,
Correct.
presumably.
In the next paragraph on the third line, kind of towards the end, it says, as the excavate to.
Yeah.
It should say, as they excavate, take out TO.
Yep.
The old pipe, it breaks. So as they excavate the old pipe, it breaks. I think that's what the symbol is.
Comma after excavate.
Yes.
As they excavate, comma?
No,
The old pipe, it breaks. It doesn't need one, but could.
I don't think,
Well, that's a different line.
I think it, are you on a different line?
Maybe.
Okay. I don't think the one that says as they excavate the old pipe, it breaks.
I see, yeah, as they.
Oh,
It
yeah,
shouldn't say
that's why. I'm sorry, I was
say-
reading a suggestion that I had written. The should be they.
Yeah.
Yeah, they, as they excavate, the old pipe breaks, so you gotta take out the two and before and
Right.
after. Or it breaks, take out the
Old
it.
pipe breaks.
The it can say or go, and it works both ways, but.
The old pipe, it breaks?
Yeah. As they excavate the old pipe, it breaks.
Okay.
Okay, that means exactly the same as what it already
Yep.
says here. As they excavate to the old pipe, as they get to it, it breaks.
Got it, that's fine.
So we're leaving it?
Sure.
Under the 7F2, are you okay going there? Second line, an update cannot be gotten from the D, so I've just changed cannot to could not be gotten from the DEP business
The
office.
same thing.
Until Representative Acker stepped in. We wanted to be sure that the monetary costs would not be more than THAN instead of that. Stated before putting money up for design from Eversource. What does PPA stand for, John?
Power purchase agreement.
Under 7F3, the very last line on the page, third line, third word in, they will, it says requires, just take the S off. They will require us to add one. Look another page.
My first one is 7F5. You have something before that?
I do. Top paragraph on the page, the very last line of said paragraph, says the location of the septic could be a deal breaker. I think it's the septic reserve that's in question, really. So the word reserve should be in there. John? You concur?
Yes.
I don't think it was said, but I think you're right.
I think
But
it might
it's
have been.
I actually have a substantive question
Oh, we're
on
correcting
at the
for
first
accuracy.
line on the page. The statement is they will have to work with us to increase this 100% grant.
Mhm.
So that means we have a 100% grant to cover the project. We want to work with them to increase the amount of that.
If the work increases, then they've got to pay more.
If the state requires us to replace the signal, this is a 100% grant, they would have to agree to increase the grant.
And pay for the additional.
Also
Feels
include the
they will make
costs.
us replace the whole system. In that case, they would need to increase the grant.
You want to
The
change it?
100%
I
there,
understand
the 100% there is descriptive of, you call it, is descriptive of the type of grant. So there's,
We don't, if the project cost goes up, our cost locally doesn't go up.
That's not
They
what
will
I put
have
it.
to increase funding,
That's what he meant.
and it won't cost us anything. Increase their funding. I'm just going to make a note to myself, I don't care if you change it.
So you could add to cover the additional costs. Would that make it clear to you?
That would definitely help.
There you go.
Have to grant?
Yes.
To cover the additional?
To cover the
cost?
additional costs.
I mean, they don't have to work with us, they just need to do it. It's not a negotiation, right?
Uh,
Or is it?
They have to agree.
You have to-
They have
He has
to
to
agree,
ask,
so
yeah.
there is a process. Historically, they've done it, but you can't guarantee everything, otherwise we have an issue.
Okay.
might run into a red light there. Or,
So I'm just giving a flashing warning light.
7F4,
Go ahead. What do you got?
Williams noticed instead of notice. And I would capitalize Eastern in Eastern Connecticut. No?
No. That's descriptive.
I wasn't sure about being aging out.
With a lot of it being aging out, that does seem,
I mean,
it's awkward, but I think
it
it's
works,
correct.
yeah.
no, AGED would probably be,
Well, it's
oh, aging, it's going on.
mhm,
With a lot of it being aging now.
people aging out.
Anyway, keep going. Under 7F5, second line, UConn has been studying.
They're the same one.
I'm all the way down to 7F7, so if anybody's...
Ooh, 7F5, third line up from the bottom of that paragraph. In the middle of the line, kind of where it says able to modify to test for fire type. I would just like to take the word "it" out, so it says the word after modify.
A scanner type of tool that has been used for about 10 years to test for lead. I don't know why it's that they have been able to modify to test for pyrite. Gotcha. Okay. He probably did say they had been able to modify it to test for pyrite, is why I was trying to get there. But. Do you have
Where were you, 7F7?
7F7.
Jump in.
Ask them to come back with, so 1, 2, 3, yeah, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line down should be back when the committee knows the full plan. 2 lines.
Come back when?
Come
when
back
instead of with.
When instead of with.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And then 2 lines further, while they're a neighbor owning. So while there is a neighbor, while a neighbor owns the land.
How about a neighbor owning the land behind the library is donating the land?
While we were there,
comma.
while we were there,
Okay, so
a
that's,
neighbor.
like, that's not important. What's important is that a neighbor owning the land behind the library is donating land for this project. That's what's important.
So the neighbor who owns the land behind the library is donating, is willing to donate.
I just thought it was
Absolutely.
interesting that it was.
While we were there.
It was descriptive, and John's whole point when he talked about it was, we were there doing this, and this person walked up and said, "Hey, how about this?"
Oh, it's while there, comma.
Yeah.
A neighbor who owns the land behind the library offered to donate the land for this project.
The rest of how narrative this is.
How's that?
Well, there, comma, a neighbor.
While there, comma, a neighbor who owns the land behind the library offered to donate the land for this project. And then he identified them. The Ladoit family is offering 1/3 of an acre behind the stone wall.
The line just before that line, sorry, back up one line, at the end of the line, says the pipe draining the courtyard was testing. It should be tested. TD.
Page 17.
It's not fun for me either.
Out of
It's
20,
fun for me
so
the
we're getting
first
there.
time.
I don't have
You're
any.
good at it.
I don't think I read it clear. Well. You have anything on the next page? You do. I see several. Go ahead.
Wait a second. Okay, first bullet under 8A. Let's see here. Where did I try to? 1, 2, 3, fourth line down. In the middle of that line, it starts. Elsesser feels that.
Writing it ourselves.
I think the word by.
Yes, that's
writing it
correct.
ourselves.
Yep. Better
Comma.
document is achieved.
A better document is achieved.
Yep.
Because those writing it instead of, was it say us? It instead of us. So writing it, know the town better than consultants would. Next line.
I missed that one. What do you, the
Okay.
second one? After the comma, a better document is achieved.
Because those writing it instead of us.
It.
IT.
And then just a comma between the word end and public in the next line. When PZC gets near the end, comma, public hearings will be held on this topic. It does change the.
That it for that page?
No, he's got one or two more.
Well, this is a question on 1, 2, 3, third bullet. It says Bolton Gateway Sewers. The Deep said no. I think there's a, is that like Bolton Gateway Sewers, Deep said no? However you want to fix that, I'm comfortable with, but.
I'll go with that.
Colon or semicolon?
Colon.
Colon. I think.
Colon.
It's a semicolon.
I don't think it is.
I don't
Yes.
think we'll know what it means.
Was that yes or?
More of a list, like you were saying.
Right, but it's a list of one. I think
Yeah.
that might be Lisa's point. I don't know.
Doesn't matter to me.
Lisa's quite the grammarian.
Semicolon?
Sure.
Go with
Thank
that.
you.
If everybody's happy.
Yep, whatever's quickest. Not happy. You know what? don't care about the rest. Next page.
Second bullet.
Second bullet, go ahead. Sounds like you have it. Go.
Capital Lands Grant is underway to hire an engineer and architect to survey what is their cost estimates for whoever the new owner is to renovate.
Couple of commas.
I think more than that, but go ahead.
No,
Try
go ahead.
that.
No, I want to hear what you
No,
did.
see how it works. Go ahead. I didn't come up with a solution yet. So.
Get rid of is there and put the word the, an architect to survey what the cost estimates will be for whoever the new owner is.
I'll go with that.
I dig it. That's a great reworking of it.
All right, you have to say it again, please.
She needs it.
So take out what is there and say the cost estimates, right? Put in the. That's what your first change was.
Yeah, I can't even find it now.
Yeah, to survey what the
cost
and then
is.
add the and cross out is there.
Yeah.
What the cost
Okay,
estimates
so
Survey what
leaving
the
what?
cost estimates
will be. That's what you added.
I just said are, but I like to use.
Well, no, you
fewer
said
words.
will be just a
Okay,
second
will
ago.
be.
I wrote
Oh,
it.
yeah, will be for whoever.
Whoever the new owner is to renovate.
Renovate.
Thank you.
That works fine.
Fourth bullet. 1, 2, 3, third line down, end of the line. Says this is on actual participation. I just want to insert the word based before the word on.
Okay.
Can somebody clarify for me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Seventh bullet.
Should be R.
Computer backup project.
Is working with the Board of Education for cybersecurity and backups are being built on.
How much of that would you agree to, John? Or are you trying to?
Just cross out is being built on. Just put a period after the backups.
Okay. I like simple fixes, that'll do. 1, 2 more bullets past that. The one that starts camera equipment. The very last word in that bullet point. It says on Facebook, I think you mean YouTube there. Yes.
Although I might have said something.
No,
How do you do YouTube? It's one word. Is
YouTube, the T is capital.
It is. Thank
Yep.
you.
The Y and the T, obviously.
With no space.
Thank you.
Mhm.
First bullet, top of the
Go
next
for it.
page.
Go for it.
First elevator in town was on Depot.
Uh,
What does that mean?
Road.
Is it Depot Road? That's what I thought it was, but I wasn't going to say.
I have something under new business. Go.
I have,
We're
on the very,
doing road after depot?
Yes.
Oh, are you still have something before new business?
yeah, the very first line of that bullet point, the same one with Depot Road at the end of it. It says promote Hayes art. Is that how we're referring to it? I thought it was like David Hayes or whatever. Is
And I
that,
think they said Hayes.
is that? I'm asking, not telling.
Just leave it.
Just leave it. We just call it Hayes art. Okay. It's apropos. It's out in the field. Hey.
Okay, Lisa.
Go for it. Richard
So
liked that one.
under new business, under discussion, the second sentence says the Board of Ed and their staff asked some questions in executive session. I think it was that the town council
Yeah,
asked
we're
the
asked.
Board of
So you
Ed.
can add were.
Or the Board of Ed and their staff were asked some questions.
Board
in
of Ed and their
executive
staff were
session.
asked some questions in executive
Yeah.
session. Yeah, so just add were after staff.
Also, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down, the very last word is I think it is important. I think that was me speaking. And it should say Thomas thinks it is important that we publicly support it, if that is the intent.
Yeah.
That creates a
Right,
bridge
maybe.
with the Board of
That
Ed
was,
and
it
teachers.
started with the second or the third sentence. Thomas learned it to the end. She is in support.
So you were already talking.
Yeah,
So
the-
Third person and
it's
then it jumps
just,
back.
there's only this instance and I think one other, and they're both referring to times when I'm speaking where it's not the third person. Just to be consistent, I probably should just say Thomas thinks it is important that we publicly
So,
support
and
it.
I'm comfortable with that.
Right before that, The actual choice is to either sit on it or deny it, not sit
That's-
on it or support it.
That's the one that I found
Yep.
that jumped out. I was like,
Do not take action, goes no, deny it.
Have it sit, what, so,
statutorily, the
Right.
only two choices were either take action by denying it or let
or
it
take
go
no
into
action.
effect,
Right. Take no action.
Well,
right? That's what I
but the
think
next,
you brought.
no, hold on, the next sentence is, however, statutorily, the actions are have it sit or support it.
Or
So
deny it.
I was saying.
No, it's not.
Oh, or
We're
deny it,
saying
right,
that word
it should be
support
or
should be
deny it.
denied.
That's all we're changing.
Right, right,
Okay.
thank you.
The second support
Yeah, it's this
to
one here.
The
deny,
actions are,
Yes,
Have
not
it
the first
sit
word
or
of the...
deny it.
deny,
did you add the word to, T-O, R2 have it sit
or to have.
or deny it?
It works with or without it, but...
Statutory, the actions are have it sit. Okay.
The motion itself should read, I move to ratify the contract,
Yes.
not make.
Couldn't agree more.
So is she all right in the last sentence? Is- Without being Thomas?
So, do you want to say Thomas
I
again?
probably should say Thomas, just to be consistent through the minutes. I missed that, thank you.
Under 9B,
So you're going back, just to make sure,
go for it.
at the top of 9A, you want to change the motion to I move to
Right.
ratify?
Correct.
Yeah.
Instead of make?
Yes.
Just
Yes.
because you're below it, I just want to make sure you went back, okay.
Yeah, I think it was starting to be, I make a motion or something like.
This feels very copy-pasty, but what do I know?
Or we don't speak in proper English.
That could be true. Anything on the rest of the page?
I just have one right there under 9B, under the bolded motion, just before the date. I think it says, the town manager to call a public hearing and advertise it on January 21st. I think it should be advertise it for January 21st.
Okay.
Because you do it on the date of the hearing, it's
If
very
you're kinda late.
ineffective.
Say that again, please.
So the only thing I'm trying to do, the word just before January, should strike on and change it to for, F-O-R.
Advertise it for.
Call a public hearing for January.
And then it happens again in the motion right under.
Oh,
Yep,
I was
that's-
doing
that's
it
where
in the
I'm going
motion.
next.
Oh, okay, so it's. was
But it does say
public
for
hearing
down there.
For.
And I was gonna add the words, a public hearing on. I'm sorry, so at 9C at the very, very bottom of this page, the very last line, just before the date, could we insert the words, a public hearing on?
What about the motion under 9B?
No.
That's where I started.
No, I thought you were right above that on the original motion. The assessor stated there was a legal notice to call a public hearing for January 21st. That one's okay?
No, change it forward, that's fine.
And then, so then, oh, then the
So
motion
the
is
one I
where
was
you-
on was
you
the
were on
second
it.
one, so-
Okay, okay, good.
It's an imperfect science, this, right?
Mhm.
So you have both of those in
Yeah.
9B. So in 9C, the
Yeah.
very last line,
Mhm.
I would like to insert the words, a public hearing on, just before the date there, just before it says January.
To correct a typographical error.
Correct. For a public hearing on. Does that match? Anybody else have any motion code? To have the town attorney revise sections such and such of the town code to tie the public hearing.
Well, actually,
Wait,
so what
this
this does is,
doesn't- no.
the 4 is what we corrected above. And it wasn't corrected in making this correction.
I make a motion to have the town attorney revise.
These were
section-
probably your exact words.
Yes, I'm
Correct the
guessing.
typical error and call a public hearing, right, for January 21st.
John, this is your motion? Do you remember?
Yeah, it is.
Do you remember correcting it or whatever?
Well, no, the
Oh, this whole
correct
thing was
is
to
what
correct
the
the typo.
substance of the whole thing is,
Yeah, yeah,
there's a
yeah.
correction that needs to be made. So,
Gotcha. To correct the
So that's
typographical
confusing, I
error.
get it, but-
So for a public hearing,
I just wanted it to be said at public hearing, right? Doesn't that need to be said as part of it there?
Yes, that has to be there.
It's
somewhere.
missing, it's a piece of missing information that needs to be added. I don't care how, I don't
But
care
that's
where. You
separate
suggested
from-
one, I'm open
There,
to it.
it looks like there are two things happening here. One is for the town attorney to revise that section.
No.
No, that's just the
It's already
full
done.
legalese.
That's why we're calling a public
Wait,
hearing.
wait, so why does it say, I make a motion to have the town attorney revise section 70-88?
Then it's colon, and it tells you what he's changing. So public gathering is to,
It's actually
I'm not
the
in the
motion.
boldface, I'm in the motion.
For a public hearing.
yeah, I make a motion to have the town attorney revise section 788 of the town code entitled,
Quote,
quote, public gathering. That's what he's adding, that's what he's putting in.
to correct a typographical error.
But I think the point is the attorney already did this.
Right.
But it's gonna be part of the public hearing, right? Is it or is it not?
His correction is part of the public hearing. You're not moving to have the town attorney do anything else, because it's already done.
Okay, so let's fix that part of it, which is take away the revised?
So you
Take away
authorize?
what?
You authorized?
Is it
Authorize the
authorized
town attorney?
instead?
Is that, do we need to authorize him to make the change? Is that what you're?
We can't change it, this all happened in a
The
meeting.
public hearing authorizes that, correct?
No.
Yes. What, you're making a motion to accept the town attorney's
Correction.
revision
Right.
to section 70-88 and call a public hearing.
Accept the town attorney's revision.
Just change it to that.
That sounds good.
Call a public hearing.
I make a motion to accept the town attorney's revision of section 70-88.
Of the town
Of the
code
town code
entitled
entitled public gathering to correct the typographical error for
For the
That's-
public hearing on July,
For the
I mean,
public
January
hearing.
21. For the public hearing.
Did you get that?
I didn't get all of it, but.
Okay, I make a motion.
Hopefully this is all being recorded, right?
Yeah, she's recording, she's recording.
to accept the town
To accept the
attorney's
town attorney's
revision.
revision of section 70-88 of the town code entitled Public Gathering to correct a typographical error for a public hearing on January 21, 2020.
That's it.
Yeah, that's still there.
I got a question here. All right, we're like 14 pages into this thing, or 15 pages, and we still have another set of minutes. Is there maybe a way to do this a little?
The other set of minutes I reviewed and made changes. They should be attached here with my changes.
Is that the stuff in red?
Yeah.
So then we go on to the next page, and then we say, oh, we didn't talk about the date or time. So, I mean, the problem is, we are recreating.
You're recreating the meeting, actually, because most of this came from your words, because it was video.
So we could skip all the nines after.
In 9C, I'm sorry, it's one tiny little thing, so it's still there.
Of as?
Yes, exactly, of ads. Matt, go ahead.
No, well, it's on the next page, it's discussion. It says this is the same thing of calling a public hearing, and same thing as calling a public hearing. So that's the only change I had on the whole page.
Same here.
There we go. On the next page, 9H, under motion, just put on, the word ON, subdivision on Old Eagleville Road. You have any others?
That's all I have, same one. Pages are flying by now, Richard. Sorry.
Next page under discussion, and it's, wow, it's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 lines. Mine starts with a significant amount of money for his truck to go, just add the word on.
Paragraph 1?
Yep.
Yep, to go on those highways.
Yep.
And
I think here.
and then,
3 lines above that, if I can
Okay,
back up.
yep, go ahead.
I'm sorry to jump in.
No, go right ahead.
The line that starts resolution,
Yep,
it says at it stands, I'm pretty sure that's as it stands.
yep.
And then, one.
As
Yep.
it stands?
Just change the word at
Thomas thinks
to
It
as.
makes sense.
as
at-
it stands.
Oh, as it stands.
Are you going to go to, so his net income will decrease?
Yeah, go for it, yours, I'm good.
So it's another 4 lines past the highway one. Anyway, I don't know how many lines it is, but it starts with, so his net income will decrease up to, instead of 2 up.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other one I have on this page is all the way down the bottom, 4 lines from the bottom. suggested changing the third, well, maybe it's right, hang on, let me reread it. Strip money from here. O'Brien Jr. suggested changes, I thought it was changes to the third paragraph to address, yeah, so.
I was just gonna say changing the. Change the word to the.
Okay, you could do that, that's easier, okay. Yeah.
I have a couple of things on this page.
All right. Oh, good.
Going back towards the top under discussion, the pronoun I again, if that could be switched to she or Thomas. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line down about in the middle.
Thomas
So
thinks.
then you want
She,
she,
yeah,
couple
she
lines
is
up,
fine. She
that
thinks we
one's
should
okay?
take a stand against raiding the rainy day fund to the extent that's being proposed.
But then the next line says I think, so what do you want that to be?
Yeah, I
That's,
got that
that's
one.
the one I'm talking about.
Okay, all right.
So change that to Thomas or she.
And then,
Get rid of the eyes.
She is, she's getting rid of it.
if you go a little bit further down, where we just fixed something around income will decrease up to $2,000 a year. So there was conversation between Richard and me. Thomas feels the current resolution does not reflect the current reality. Williams replied that it affects his reality. Then it looks like Williams is still speaking, but I believe this is me speaking. The issue is not, so Thomas said the issue is not about the impact on secondary roads. And we are not near any bridges.
So you just want to say Thomas said?
Yeah,
Okay, Thomas said the issue is not about the impact on secondary roads.
and we are not near any bridges.
Yeah, oh, you want to make it one sentence? That's fine.
Whatever, or just keep it separate, but it just needs, so there was dialogue happening. And,
Right.
and I,
It's hard to.
Richard didn't say this because that's, the opposite of what he was trying to say. So that should be clear that it wasn't his words.
Okay.
And then further down, Yvonne's around here.
Oh.
There's a line that starts with on period and then it says it doesn't make sense now and doesn't look well for us. Thomas would still like to see something about protecting the rainy day fund. We really need to make
Yeah.
it a bipartisan effort to address both issues. Not a bipartisan issue, but a bipartisan effort. Unless my word really was issue. That's it. But I think I would have said effort because it doesn't make sense. That's all.
If we could back up about 9 lines ahead of that, the line that starts actually happens. The next word is, should be stricken. That actually happens instead of whatever. I'd like to strike that is as well. Nebulous stays. And then plan is proposed
Oh, I got it.
this week.
Whatever nebulous this week,
Whatever nebulous plan is proposed
whatever nebulous plan is proposed.
this week. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down from that, the line that starts and thinks it is a good idea. I think the word she needs to be between and thinks, so that it reads, and she thinks this is a good idea. It is a good idea. So the whole line would read, there are other towns that are doing this, and she thinks it is a good idea. I think that's yours, Julie, right?
I thought she was
Unless
saying the
I'm
town.
misreading it.
I thought she was saying that the towns think it is a good idea, or were you saying you think it's a good idea?
Blanchard stated that her fear is that we need to let the legislators know that we are opposed to tolls and stuff. I think she wants to see a resolution from the town council.
Is it the towns that
There
think
are
it's a good
other
idea?
towns that are doing
Or
this.
Julie?
and-
Julie.
Or you think it's a good idea? You probably are saying you think it's a good idea,
I
right?
think it's a good idea, but there's other towns that are doing it, so they obviously also think it's a good idea.
So, I mean, it's your statement, however you want
So-
to. It just doesn't read
Actually,
me right now. I just want to be
You
able
could
to
take
read.
the S off of think, and then if it's the towns, and if it's you, then you want to say then in Julie.
Sure, that's the way to
She
do it.
thinks it's a good idea.
That's the way to do it.
That works.
What do we do?
Just take the S off of think.
Off of thinks.
Off
Make
of-
it think.
Yes, I'm sorry.
We're not putting in she?
We're not.
Okay.
We're going for the shortest change.
I think we're well beyond that.
Right.
A few lines below that, oh, do you have this one?
Nope, next page, go ahead.
A few lines below that, so it's 1, 2, 3, fourth line up from the bottom of the page. Starts with O'Brien Jr. suggested changing to third paragraph? Or did you do that already?
Yeah, we did that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Next page, go for it.
Well, and this is for clarification, maybe not what I said or not. That's the line that starts with Governor meets. O'Brien Sr. added after they approve it. So if you want to be clear, it's after the state approves a proposal. Is that okay? I probably did say after they approve it, so if you want to leave it the way it is, that's fine.
The line before it doesn't say.
It's not enough information.
For clarification, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I don't know.
So change it to the state approves a proposal. Did you do this one? 1, 2, 3. It's the line that begins with "be added to a special meeting agenda" and pass them on the same day, period.
Where are you?
I'm sorry. So it's, I don't know, maybe 10 lines down. It's to be added to a special meeting agenda and pass them on the same day. I put a period and then capitalize that.
Sure. That's hard to do from an audio tape.
Yeah.
Because it reads either way.
Yeah. And then 4 lines down past that, it says "they later this
Yep.
goes." It should be "the later," change "they" to "the." Later this goes, and more we will know.
And then the next line down below that in the middle where it starts a new sentence, not know what you were up against, not knowing what you were up against.
My phone's been vibrating, sorry, I'm just trying to get not knowing. Yep, okay.
That's all I have on that page.
Me too.
Wait, that's all I have.
That's all I have too. There you go. Move to approve the minutes as amended.
Do I have a second?
Second record? Yeah,
Matt
second.
Senior
No, that's already.
moved.
Actually, we may already have a
Matt
motion. Do
We
we have a
already had
motion
a
to approve? Yeah,
That's
okay.
true.
That's true. It was another day though, wasn't it? An hour ago.
Felt like
Change
it.
the date.
All those in
Thank you, John.
favor of
No, it's not just
approving
me, thanks everybody.
the minutes?
I'd like to reiterate Lisa's point though, that this is unfortunately just a consequence of how these minutes were generated, and that's not the normal process, nor is it now the normal, it's, anyway.
I mean, there's also the discussion at some point somewhere about how detailed the minutes
Need
should
to
be.
be.
We have video typically, we have audio, and usually minutes are intended to capture the big picture and then,
The highlights?
But this is her first time doing this. and-
oh, no, I understand.
Not
I
productive.
But it's
don't know
also-
any of your
Yeah.
business, so, yeah.
No.
So it's up to,
She doesn't
Yeah.
even,
Us
it's
as a
hard to know
group.
what's important and not, so you
Right.
put it all down. I understand
Right,
exactly.
so I'll get it.
It's great.
All right, so all those in favor of approving the minutes as amended, please say aye. Aye.
Could we read back the amendment? Oh, sorry.
Wow.
All right, that was unanimous. All right, next.
Minutes.
Yes, our minutes from December 23rd, and I had tried to pre-read them and hopefully get some of these grammatical type things.
Yours have red on it? Because mine came out all black.
My personal ones. did.
Oh, not what was generated?
I
Okay.
brought them.
Yes, this is the one
you
that
have
had
to
some
print it
red
on a color
screen.
printer,
I
Matt.
know, right?
So it doesn't come out in my printing.
But they're the handwritten parts,
Yeah.
right?
This we don't.
Yes.
Everything there is not in a font, it's in Julie's handwriting apparently.
Matt, if you looked at it on your computer screen, you'd see the red and you'd have to print it with a
No, that's what I'm saying, is
color
that it
printer.
didn't show up on my
Print.
printed copy. Well, I guess I could see combine here. I see one.
First time.
I have one that I'd like to raise.
All right, this is an important
This
one.
one.
Raise your hand, Ham.
I was at the meeting and I'm not listed under the roll call.
What the heck?
I'm with him on this. What the heck? It's an honest mistake.
Was there a motion and second, or are we just going
Oh,
to discussion
oops.
first?
I move to approve the minutes of the
Second.
December 23rd, 2019 special meeting.
Second?
Thank you.
Good catch.
Yes, thank you.
I have a quick one under fiscal
I
responsibility.
was there.
Item 1, go 6 up from the bottom, and it says, sketch of the project and provide a cost. It should be cost estimate, I assume. Agreed. I'm not going to change some of these or skip this one. Bloom Shapiro is BLUM, right?
Yeah,
So-
I crossed out the E.
Oh, you did?
She did.
Okay, that's not me, that's you.
We changing something?
Nope.
Well, you
It's-
should
Do it's
have
an edit
them.
that's already
Julie
there.
already edited
Did you
it.
already do this? Did you get Julie's thing with the red?
So she changed COME to combine in the first line under fiscal responsibility, item 2.
Yeah, it's on there. It's
Okay.
just not in color.
But then the fourth line, BLUM instead of BLUME, that's all.
Hold on, I can read this.
Do you want to give her this?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
easier. The one in there, I already know this.
All right, so these are
Did you write this, Dee, or
Julie's
did I?
edits.
She's got it.
It's almost enough to make you see that.
So you wrote the D? Okay, good.
From you are.
John Hand, you got anything on page 2?
Again, now I'm caught with, is it something you found or something I found? Is it a couple, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down from Bloom? Is that yours? Is there an evaluate?
Evaluated?
Yep,
Yeah,
yes,
it would be
okay.
in there.
Evaluated, you got that.
So on the next page, top of the page, the fourth line, just changed the word DATE to data. I think that Julie got that too.
She did.
I didn't see it until now.
Yeah.
I had it.
Jumped out at you because that handwritten thing.
Well, I also have my, I can't tell because I wrote over them, so I can't
I
tell what's hers
understand.
anymore. So.
I just did the same thing, so, sorry.
Ann wonders if a resident reading the statement feel it would also benefit them. You want to add something there, John?
I'm sorry, where?
Infrastructure item 3, first line. Reading this statement feel.
For resident.
Would feel.
Would.
Would feel.
Let's add the word would, W-O-U-L-D. And that's in the first sentence.
Yes.
Which page are you?
Page
Page
3.
3 of 10.
Under infrastructure item 3.
Sorry, page 3 of 10.
Oh, first line.
First line.
Lisa has some when they're on a page before this, aren't they?
No, it's still on this page, but it's above infrastructure.
So the third line under infrastructure item 3 just changed, Blanchard feels in very important, just to change it to is. The fourth line, after the project is brought forth instead of after the project if brought forth. And,
Where was that one?
I'm sorry, line 3 and 4.
Oh, yeah, just right below it.
Yep.
Oh, wait. If?
I thought Julie felt important. Isn't that what-
So I
No,
don't
Julie
know.
feels it is important to us. Feels it is very important to us. Right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what'd you
First
say?
bullet addresses.
What'd you say in the next
Is.
line, Matt?
To be found, may be found after the project is brought forth, instead of if. Oh, if brought
I
forth.
think
That's
it brought
what I
forth
If
is
brought
right
forth.
here.
works.
Actually, that's correct. I'm take that back, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe if it was brought third or second, not fourth.
And where your name appears second time.
Wait,
in
he
this.
was there?
So there's a state statute that has an Emergency Powers Act 2 Assessor has been, so that Assessor has been talking up to.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
I'm down.
Where are you?
So it's under item 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th line, Emergency Powers Act that, so change TO to that. Assessor, that assessor, right. Good. Did you have something above, Lisa, you said?
Yeah, and I might have some things on the previous page, but above infrastructure, so 1, 2, 3, 4 lines up, it says, as to the third bullet,
Yeah.
quote, state unquote is being added. What we said was being added is at the state level. So representatives at the state level.
So that was at the state level? That was for the
Right,
state- that was for the state.
representatives
Sorry.
at the state level.
She's just saying again for the tape. She changed the tape.
Say it again.
No, I just did. I'm sorry, that's what I was doing, was restating what you said, because I think it got cut off. I'm sorry. I was trying to make it more clear.
What representatives at the...
At the state level. So we're trying to say,
Is being added after representatives, so it's going to be at the...
So representatives
at the state level, not just representatives, because that, we don't know who that is, but representatives at the state level.
Keep going.
Page 4. These are numbered.
Yeah.
City progression.
Yeah.
There are thousands of trees and
Don't have anything till page 5.
Page 4, there's a blank. That should be softball or what's determined most advantageous economic way to find permanent. The underline there, fill in the word facilities.
Facilities, that's...
Yeah.
Facilities, plural, right?
Yep.
Thanks for filling in the blank.
Also, on infrastructure, item 4, Thomas asked about fields for girls softball.
Can you give us some idea where?
Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
I gotcha.
8,
So you
9.
started
Oh, it
blank.
starts with the word Thomas.
Okay, go ahead.
Thomas asked about fields for girls softball. She thought they had fields to play on, which can't be correct because I know there's a problem with the fields. I don't know what I said.
I think you did say that. You actually said that we thought you had fields, and then we had to tell you, then they talked about how they fixed them.
No. I know that, I know they don't have adequate fields. What you were talking about was that, or what John at some point was talking about, was that the drainage had been improved
Right.
on the field here for the time being. But we know that that's not, there needs to be more beyond that.
The issue is they want their own fields. They don't want to share fields because they have scheduling conflicts.
Right, which I understand. Otherwise we wouldn't be doing a softball field study.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. The way it is.
So I don't
Wanna
recall
cut it out?
exactly what I
Strike-
said
strike
or
it,
whatever,
strike
but
it.
yeah, that would be great, strike it.
The whole thing? The second
Sentence,
part.
a sentence.
Oh,
Starting with Thomas.
Yeah, you can
starting
take that
with
whole
Thomas.
thing out, because we were talking about softball anyway.
Or you could end it after softball.
Thomas asked about fields for girls softball, and then,
Period. Softball is girls' softball is the fastest growing sport.
right,
because she thought they had fields to play.
right.
Yes.
And there wouldn't be a committee if it wasn't an issue.
Maybe someone else said that.
Are we done with page 4?
I'm on page 5. The first paragraph, 3 lines up from the bottom, it says, assessor suggested wording of in conjunction with the committee. I'm not sure what we're supposed to be saying there, but assessor suggested wording of in conjunction with the committee. Ask planning and zoning to look at potential revisions. Oh, maybe that's a quote, wording of in conjunction with the committee, ask
Yes.
planning and zoning,
So just
colon.
comma,
Okay, you could do comma.
comma,
And then
quote.
quote.
End quote at the end.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, John?
Yep.
The second paragraph, one that starts with the word back, period, they are both, and I think they're asked me. Are they asked me, John?
Yes.
Okay. Let's spell that
She
for
changed that.
Oh, is that what it, okay.
It's just
I
lacking a
wasn't
C.
sure. That's why I was like, I put SP for little spelling
Oh,
afterwards. I
that's
didn't-
what that is.
I didn't see that. I was like,
AF.
AFCME.
A, F,
CSME.
yeah. there's a
CSME?
CS.
Federation of
State,
State, County, and
county,
Municipal.
SC.
Federation of
SME.
State, county and municipal
Federal,
employees.
Federal, state.
So AF,
American Federation of State,
SC.
County, and
SCME.
ME.
Me.
If you go down,
Cap?
Yes, all capitalized.
you go down 4 lines past that,
The union.
just change the word SO. It's the electricians do so. Instead of, it's do instead of so. Do some simple jobs.
To do some.
Electricians do some simple jobs, yeah. Anybody have anything else on this page?
Yeah. So that same paragraph we've been working in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
What's it start?
6. It's the line that starts there, period, maybe.
Okay.
At the end of that line,
Six
it
from the-
says,
Excuse me, 6 from the top or the bottom?
from the top, I'm sorry. 6th line from the top, the line that starts there, period, maybe.
Mhm.
You are thinking you want to focus on the board,
No,
on
focus the
education.
board. No, focus
you
the board.
added a word in there, John.
I'm sorry, oh, thank you.
No problem.
To focus the board on education, and maybe that's why I think it's an error. Maybe there's nothing to change,
I
sorry.
think it's fine.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I saw something, but I lost it.
I have a question about, so after the ask me correction,
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, the last 2 words in the line are kind of its own sentence.
Remove sufficiently. That's a great idea.
Can we just
should do with
remove
those. Yeah.
that?
I think that would be
I don't know if it
sufficient.
refers, what that is.
I think there's, in the goals, the draft goals.
Oh, remove the
Remove
word sufficiently?
Sufficiency. Or
Sufficiently.
sufficiency.
That was a suggestion.
And
So it's sufficiency, not sufficiently. Is that correct?
I think somewhere in the goals, they wanted the word sufficiently removed. So maybe,
Should we add the words, the word?
I put it in the parentheses.
Or in quotes is good?
Quotes is good.
Quotes works. I like quotes.
not that we do it.
Yeah. I don't know, we won't know until about midnight the way we're going.
Minutes to go through.
Table.
Are you looking at something, Lisa?
Table the rest of the minutes until the next meeting.
Sure.
Anyone want a second?
Second that. Oh, is that? That was a random thought out there. That has ramifications.
Discussion?
I think it'd be great if we tabled these.
Yeah. Agreed.
Are
This
you
is-
just kicking the can to the curb, or are we gonna let the clerk make these changes and
Redistribute?
resubmit them to us?
Well,
Could we
would you like us to
send
send her further additional things? Because there are,
Just get them to Julie,
yeah.
and we can update
And we
this.
can- that would be
We're through
fine.
halfway through page 5.
So you start,
Did anybody else have anything else on page 5? No, seriously. 'cause
yeah.
We could just say, start at,
From page 6.
beginning of page 6.
forward. Well, that's a fun.
Then at least we know where we were.
Let me see, how many lines?
What's to begin with the line?
I lost it. I think it's 12 from the bottom. Say that the town will take a lead role in of the janitorial care.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Take a lead role in
Just take out of.
Just take out.
Remove right out.
remove of.
Nothing else on this page? Okay.
If we find something, we can email it to Julie, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And then you will all get it back. All right, all those in favor of tabling these minutes to our next meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
And send me any alterations or changes you might like to see.
So are we making corrections up to page 6?
Yep.
Okay, did you vote on those? Or you just do another motion to
Oh, so
table the rest?
I understand.
We could vote on the one.
No, she wants us to.
Can you take a friendly amendment to the first motion? And
Yes.
it's for pages 1 through 5. I think Lisa
Did I make
made
that?
it.
So
Just
we'll-
seconded.
So the motion is to accept the changes made to pages 1 through 5 and table the remainder of the minutes until our next meeting, please. And you're the seconder?
I'm the seconder,
You're the
she's the
seconder.
motion. I
I
agree.
actually made the
There's a
motion.
friendly
Did you?
amendment
I'm
happening,
sorry.
hold on. Or you're
Well, we
giving an amendment
voted.
to what your motion.
My original motion.
Second.
Okay. Okay, so you're making
I just amended the original
He
motion.
amended his motion.
table.
Yes, so the motion
To accept
to
the-
table was to first accept the changes made to
Pages 1 through 5.
pages 1 through 5
Okay.
and table the minutes until the next
Table it down.
table, whatever.
So your motion that you seconded,
And I changed
If
it.
the amendment
She
is all
accepted it.
good.
Yeah, she accepted
now
it.
do the first people who had the original motion need to accept that?
No, we were the original.
Oh, the motion to approve the
very
minutes.
first.
The
very
first one.
No, this is a motion to table.
No, you
But
had
there
one
was
at
a
the
motion to
beginning.
approve the minutes on the table, which we were discussing when the motion to table was made.
Right, that's what we're
This wasn't a
tabling.
good idea.
That's what we're tabling.
Should we continue them instead?
Does it matter that there was a motion on the table first?
No.
Yes.
I
So
think it
whoever
was-
made the motion.
I think it
Thomas.
was
I
Lisa.
think it was you.
Yes.
I made a motion to accept the
All
minutes.
right, so
And I
Matt
think I
makes a
second.
friendly amendment to the main
My
motion,
Okay.
and this friendly amendment,
The seconder has to,
I accept it, that's what I started to do.
yes.
Perfect.
So I accept
We're
that.
there.
Friendly amendment.
So the motion was made,
got you.
seconded, amended, and approved by the seconder.
right.
Okay,
And now do we vote?
Yes.
we should.
Yes.
Aye.
All those in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
I, yeah.
Let's start the meeting.
Move to approve the consent agenda?
Second?
I gotta get those guys.
There's nothing on it, is there?
Is there anyone that anybody wants to remove from our consent agenda?
Can we add 12 things to it?
Board of Ed minutes and
Finance committee.
Finance Committee.
There's been one more, I think, too, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, Cobra.
Aye.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Well, does anybody want to take anything else
Aye.
off? I guess not. Aye.
All right, under reports quickly, next Monday night at 6:30, there's going to be a microgrid presentation to the full council and the Board of Education. We will be in conference room B. Then,
At 6:30?
At
Before
6:30.
finance.
Yep. At 7 o'clock, we're going to have a presentation of our audit to the Finance Committee of the Town Council and the Fiscal Committee of the Board of Education. Any council member is welcome to be present. If you're not on the Finance Committee, you're able to sit and be a spectator, not a participant. But it is a very informative discussion about our audit, which is our financial health of the town.
Could you just say what time it starts again for my kids?
6:30.
6:30, half an hour,
Thank you.
brief update, mostly for the people that aren't aware at all about the project. We're not going to do a big formal presentation. There's not a lot of change, but it's important. They just want to touch base.
So is that part of the finance?
No, special council, joint council, and joint board of ed. It was decided that everyone should be invited to that.
So we're pushing back the start of finance?
No, finance is at 7. This is at 6:30.
I got that. Is that just one? This is a microgrid?
Yep,
6:30
6:30 to 7
7?
o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
At 7 o'clock, the auditors will present our audit.
To the finance committee for the
And
finance
fiscal
meeting.
Committee
So
of the
it's-
Board of Education.
Thank
You
you.
don't have to stay, you're welcome to stay if you're not on
Thank
the
you.
finance
And you
committee.
have copies of the audit handed to you tonight.
That was the part I was really asking about.
And then, that same evening, once that's done, our finance committee will do our finance business.
Oh, boy.
If we get through the minutes. No, I'm kidding.
It's okay, Matt. We know you're going to do us a good write-up.
And lastly, I just wanted to give you all a heads up, on January 21st, our Fire Study Committee is planning on doing a presentation at that council meeting to us. And Chief Palmer is going to give a presentation on PREA, which stands for Prison Rape Elimination Act.
We got a grant
Eliminate rape in our prison.
to create a program to be a
Educate.
model to educate other police departments how to do it right.
Okay.
Very competitive, right?
So those are upcoming items for our
So that's a
January
Tuesday night
21st.
because of Martin Luther King Day.
Are there any other council members that want to report on anything this evening?
I do, I promise to be really quick. First of all, I had an opportunity to meet Deb Walsh from the library
Renovation and Improvement Committee?
Renovations and Improvement Committee at the library several days ago to have a walkthrough and get caught up to speed on where that project is now, which was really helpful. It was really busy. It was a Saturday morning. No, it wasn't. It was a Friday morning. The 26th. But anyway, I just want to express appreciation to Deb Walsh for taking the time out to do that and to take me around. And the other thing is, and I want to say this in a positive way, because we just had a really collegial opportunity to go through the minutes and all. But I am going back to the article that was in the JI on January 2nd, and I was just concerned by your comment, Matt Senior, about the opposition party, which would include me, having a vastly different platform at odds with yours. And I hope that, I have not felt that we have vastly different goals for the town. That feels very hyper-partisan and non-collaborative, and I hope that's not really reflective of what we've been doing here so far. I think, at least at the table, we've been collaborative. Going now back to the statements of yours and what's on the Republican platform, it doesn't feel quite that same way, but I hope that what comes to the table will remain as collaborative as it's been so far in terms of the conversations we're having. So I because that's out there to the public, I wanted to say that so far there's been good work going on, at least publicly at the table.
We have.
So.
Any other members that want to report on anything going on in town? Okay. Steering committee, Matthew Jr.
Skip finance.
Yeah, finance is on the
I don't have a report other than we are looking for regional tourism district liaison.
I had one person reach out to me and I told her to fill out an application for
Okay.
the town hall.
You could explain you had a short meeting because there's a special council
Yeah, it was a
meeting.
very short meeting, the last steering committee meeting. So we can basically just jump right into reappointments.
Yep.
I move that the council approve the reappointment of Janine Coughlin to the Ad hoc Farmers Market Operating Committee, term to expire 12/6/2022.
Second?
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I move that the council approve the reappointment of Stephen Merrick to the Capital Region Council of Governments, term to expire 1/1/2021.
Second?
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Can I ask a quick question? Is there a reason we don't have the dates on any of the appointments on?
They're in the middle,
Oh, they are, okay.
in the middle of the page.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're
And they're
in the
handouts
handouts.
too.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was just reading off the agenda.
They're on the applications.
Yeah, statement of interest forms. You're on Leroy Lowe
Thank you.
Jr.
I move that the council approve the reappointment of Leroy Lowe Jr. to the Conservation Commission, term to expire 1/1/2024.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I move that the council approve the reappointment of Robert Proctor to the Conservation Commission, term to expire 1/1/2024.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. I move that the council approve the reappointment of Dorothy Grady to the HUD Housing Rehab Fair Housing Commission, term to expire 12/31/2021.
Second?
Aye.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Move that the council approve the reappointment of Beverly Carlson as an alternate on the Parks and Rec Commission, term to expire 1/1/2022.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I move that the council approve the reappointment of Mary Gallo Hall to the Parks and Recreation Commission, term to expire 1/1/2022.
Second.
Just Marie,
Sorry, Marie.
thank you.
Any further discussion?
You accept the amendment? He changed the name.
All
Marie
those in-
Gallo Hall.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I move that the council approve the reappointment of Benedict Emmanuel to the Pension and Retirement Board, term to expire 1/1/2023.
That's a reappointment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I move that the council approve the reappointment of Paul Jetkowski to the Pension and Retirement Board, term to expire 1/1/2023.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I move that the council approve the reappointment of David Powers to the Pension and Retirement Board, term to expire 1/1/2023.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Move that the council approve the reappointment of Leroy Lowe Jr. to the Veterans Memorial Commission, term to expire 1/1/2022.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Move that the council approve the appointment of John Twerdy as an at-large member to the Senior Housing Alternative Study Committee for a life term.
Second.
What's the life of the project?
Life of the project.
Any discussion?
That's what the report says.
That is what it
The
says.
report says that.
Don't say that. It is on there. I'm reading it, the appointed lifetime.
All right. All those in favor, please
Life
say
of
People here.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We'll approve the minutes. John, do you have projects to update us?
Wait, did we do
What?
Twerdy to senior housing?
Just
Did I-
a
Yeah,
life
that's
term.
life.
Yes.
Okay, oh, that's the life term.
Life term.
You just voted on it.
But, okay, so I didn't want to say something under every single discussion, but just to express gratitude to all these people who are volunteering to serve on these commissions, many of whom are serving on multiple commissions and have been doing this for a long time.
Second.
It's a lot to give our community. It's not a motion.
No, but I second that motion.
It's not a
I
motion,
agree
she
with
did.
I second that emotion.
I knew that was coming.
I third that emotion.
All right, John, projects.
All right, so just a reminder that we're starting to work on community development block grant applications. The grant is due April 3rd, so probably at your next meeting, we're going to need you to make a decision of whether we're reapplying for Orchard Hills. Right now, we're starting that effort, but formally we'll need to look at options and make that decision. We got a commitment today that Orchard Hills does want to proceed ahead with that, and there's a matching component of the architectural fees that they'll be covering. So I just want you to let you know we're starting.
You can only apply for one, or
we can only apply for one. Yep. And we are in the process right now. As of Thursday, we'll be seeking formally going through an RFP for a consultant to prepare that application. So we're starting to.
What would be the amount that we'd be seeking?
That has to be something that has to be decided. Last time we went for the total amount, maximum amount available, 1.5 million. They would like to do that. We're still discussing with our grant consultant whether, given that there's only 12 million statewide, whether
You
that
get better chances if you
pare
pare
it
it
down
down
a little less
bit,
or not. So we need to have those discussions between the housing authority and the council and our consultant on what his thoughts are. He pointed out there were two given that were for the full amount, so he's not positive whether that matters or not.
And the council has to choose an amount when we vote
Yes.
to move forward with this?
Yes.
So are we going to get any information other than what you just gave us? Because I'll vote tonight.
It's not on the agenda, so you can't vote tonight.
You can add to the agenda.
We're not ready yet.
Okay.
We've got to go through a higher consultant first, but anyway. Wanted to then give it just a couple holiday stats. Human Services helped 61 families at Thanksgiving at Orchard Hills, 67 got, these are meals at Orchard Hills, and 67 at Christmas. 57 families got food for Thanksgiving, and 63 families got foods and gifts for Christmas. And bell ringing brought in $4,384.35, which is down significantly from the past few years, but several of the stores only allowed us to do 2
Cut
weeks.
down the time, right? Yeah.
That dramatically impacted, but we do thank our new location, Wicked Slice, that.
And the ones that have continued.
Yes. So we understand that some customers don't like to be felt nagged, so we get it. Let you know that American Red Cross has kicked in and is helping the burn victim and providing some temporary housing for his daughter that came up from Florida, and helping with some funeral expenses. The tax sale is coming up. We have to delay one of the properties, the house on Brewster Street. The title searcher did the wrong map lot reference number.
In the notice.
In the notice, so we have to renotice it. You can't fool around with tax sales. So we will go ahead with the one property and then pick up the other one after the renotice period. The contractor for the Northfield subdivision has decided that the weather looks so great the next week, besides the rain, that they want to continue the water line project. Of course, I've already told people we're not going to do that, so we'll have to put a Facebook notice out. But our preference actually would be for them to finish it so we can get in there this spring first thing and start the road work. So I'll stop there at those items.
Great, thanks.
Microgrid update, not a lot to update. We're still having our meetings. They are scheduling to this coming Friday finish the installation of what they call tiles, which are little meters to give really detailed electric meters on all our buildings. So they've located where we need Ethernet cords, or where we need Wi-Fi enabling, or where we need just some place to plug the tile in. They've done all our buildings. They already have them installed at Orchard Hills and getting metering equipment there. They're looking at their financing and so forth, and they'll give it a further update next week. Included in the agenda is CROG's legislative agenda. So you can look at that. We can talk about it in the future if you want to.
Are we supposed to comment or anything? Not tonight, I mean, but are you looking for us to make comments?
It's already been adopted by CROG.
That's what I figured, yeah.
If you have a specific thing you want to push or want me not to push, it's important for me to know as I represent you at the meetings. But I think these generally seem fairly generic, focused on their activities more than anything that I thought was controversial. But if you have a differing opinion, I do need to know that. Just wanted you to know that GoBankingRates.com evaluated the best places in each state to buy a home, and Coventry was selected as the best place to buy a home in the state of Connecticut.
But we knew that.
So I think that's good.
That's why we're here.
And I'm saddened to let you know that Courtney Chan, our Human Services Director, has submitted her resignation. We'll start recruitment later this week and try to get somebody in. She's staying through January 31st. She's been here 12 years and really wants to just go on to some other things and go to the private sector, do some more in-depth counseling with clients. Had a friend that has some work that she wants to try out, and her kids are at an age where the shuttling around at middle school, high school is more difficult. So
can the council express our thanks for her years of
that'd be very nice.
Absolutely.
We're going to have a
thank
breakfast.
her very much, and we'll miss her. And
thank you. She brought a different feel to the office, much more total counseling. Getting deep into looking at all the issues, financial planning and so forth. So it's a kind of a more different approach, and I supported it because I thought it really helped people make the decisions they needed to make, and not just handing out things.
Was she an employee that got a 10-year award? Did
Yes.
we get to that
Yeah, I think she
level
did.
with her?
I think so. I'll go back and check, but if not, we can do that. But we did that last year, I think, so she would have gotten it.
The
She's
10-year.
12 years. It's hard to believe time has flown by that fast. And she felt comfortable that the staff that we have right now can kind of handle the interim, because she's very competent. Sneha, our newest services person, has really hit the ground running and has some in-depth skills that she'll be able to help some of the clients. And so we have the other senior person just started, the assistant to the senior person that started too, so the rest of the staff is all here. So that's my reports.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Next item is unfinished business 19/20-32, consideration and possible action on our town council goals for a 2-year term of 2019 through 2021.
Yes.
Say that on the top of the page.
Well, it's fiscal years, 1920 and 2021.
So we're good with 2020 to 20.
If you want to clarify it, but
You could say 219 to 2021 if you want. I mean, that actually is probably more.
That's what I said.
The term is 19
2019
to 21, right?
Yeah, our term is 2019
Right,
to
it's a
2021.
2-year term,
Right.
as I said.
So whatever you want. What do you want, 1920?
19 to 21.
19 to 21.
But that,
Okay.
That's what this term will be finished.
right, but that's 3 years, right? 19, 20.
No, but the
21.
No,
term.
it's 19 to
All right,
20,
they want me to
20
say
to 21.
November
You start in the middle of a year.
19 through,
I do understand it.
Oh, John's saying
November
fiscal year
of
20
21.
and fiscal
Somebody
year
threw out
21.
fiscal years, and I just
Well,
thought
then you
maybe
should
it's a
say it that
2-year
way
term.
if you want
As
to
long
do
as we
it.
pick one,
We can argue
go
about
with it.
something.
That's fine.
Let's go with the
Either
term.
it's-
okay, this is our goals from the day we were elected till the day of the next election.
2019 to 2021.
It's 2 years, it's November to November to.
Yep.
Thank you. I have lived it, understand it.
Okay, so we have our goals in front of us.
First paragraph, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentence starts with exploring. It's all the way to the right side. It says business owners in the including. So I think it's Connecticut residents and business owners including highway tolls. Not in the including. Anybody disagree?
Where is that again?
Fifth line. The line starts with exploring even more taxes on Connecticut residents and business owners. I'm taking out in the, including highway tolls.
Yes.
So my suggestion is remove in the. Right?
Yep.
Anybody else have anything else on page 1? We've kind of talked this all through, but I just
Yeah,
wanted
it
to make
was
sure
just
they're
a little-
reflective, you know?
Difficult to know whether what we had arrived at translated here.
Into this,
I don't know, maybe we should
concur.
just look at this
You
as a
wanna
fresh
table-
document. Or there's that.
Table it so that you have time to really
Sure.
look this over one more.
I think so, because
There's a lot in there.
there's a lot here, and I'll just echo what Lisa said. I did try to resolve what I see here with what the notes I took on when we left, and there's some pretty wide gaps.
Yep. Okay.
We don't have a transcript of the meeting at all, so do
Yeah,
I?
we did.
Yeah, minutes.
The ones that we tabled.
Yeah, oh, well,
Continue to.
But, I mean, I tried my best off of my
Oh, no,
notes.
I mean, I have some.
there was a lot going on.
I'm game
too.
to go. I have some notes that I took, but I don't know how everybody else.
There was a motion to table, and...
Did anybody second? I will if nobody did.
No?
What was the motion?
To
Oh,
table.
I just suggested it.
You suggested, maybe it wasn't a
I
motion.
suggested it.
I'm
Somebody
sorry.
could certainly feel free to motion.
Move to table to the next meeting? Well,
Second.
no, the next meeting might not be. Is that going to work? It's going to be a busy meeting.
Well,
I know we're pushing up against,
But if you,
but that puts John in a spot, right?
but not just me, it puts the whole budget process
That's-
in a
I'm
spot.
sorry.
Because,
Okay, so let's...
we need to get these approved, right?
Okay, so let's keep going.
you know, if you want me to give a budget that meets your goals,
I understand.
I'm working on
I
it. You can't wait till the end of the month.
So I have some grammar things, but John, you said you have substantive things? You want
Nope,
to...
nope, go ahead, start there.
Anybody else have anything on page 1?
Yeah, Yes. Because in under fiscal responsibility, the first bullet, or the first category, first goal is to prioritize town projects on needs versus nice to have without negatively affecting long-term planning. And then there's one bullet having to do with the library. So is that the only project we're looking at? Why is there just that one bullet?
Well, we didn't come up with any more at our goal,
That's the only thing that's like pending.
but that they affect future projects.
Yeah. Prioritize current and future town projects, or town projects and future,
Well, town projects encompasses both of those, doesn't it? Current and future. I mean, this is
Yeah.
a 2-year goal. It's not like it's a goal for today.
I mean, we have other projects, like we're working on the softball fields, and we're working on the
I think those fell under
walls
infrastructure, though.
and,
A lot fell under.
Those things are in here. Softball fields and.
yeah, so maybe the library stuff should go over to infrastructure? I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah.
It just,
No, I found it
it's fine.
curious when I was reading it as well.
But
And
that's
maybe-
what you did the other night.
Maybe the first
Yeah.
word, instead of redirect the library, maybe continue? No.
I mean,
Yeah.
See, redirect
This
the-
is what you started with. This is what you started with at your last meeting.
Right.
And then you made changes.
And you made changes to it. And
So this first bullet, are we changing the charge that's been given to that committee? So they have a charge,
I think we
correct?
may after meeting with them, right?
Right, they have a charge that they're working under, but this bullet,
so the
Ignores
first bullet
that.
does not talk just about the library, just so you know. If you want to break it out as a separate
oh,
bullet.
complete the projects paid for, yeah, maybe that should be a separate,
And if
no, it's all about the library.
Yeah, the whole bullet
No,
Yeah.
points that I'm looking at.
No, it's talking about complete the projects paid for and already passed.
Bond referendum, elevator,
So that
et
includes
cetera.
the
At the
school.
library, though,
No, no,
right?
no, that includes the whole school project.
Okay, that
I
seems
was
to be
thrown off by the
implied.
parenthetical phrase elevator, etc.
Same
Those
here.
are, that's the elevator, I think there's only one
Originally-
we're talking about.
And then it goes back
Originally,
to-
it was elevator and oil tanks, and I pointed out, we crossed out oil tanks because the oil tanks were done.
Yeah, I
But
know
that's
that.
still.
So if you want to break it into 2 bullet points, complete the bond, the projects paid and already passed the bond. But then it goes back to talking about the
Exactly,
library.
that's why it all seems like one library
It did
package.
seem like one on my
But at the
reading.
meeting, we talked about the other bond projects.
Right.
So maybe complete the projects paid for in the already passed bond referendum, get
Take
rid
that
of the
sentence out and make it a
parenthetical and
second-
move it down as
make it
its
a
own
second-
bullet.
Make it
Yeah.
a second bullet. Leave the rest as it is.
I'm just concerned with the wording, redirect the library renovation project, because there's a charge out there that's been
It's not a
given.
redirection, it's continuing what's already charged to the committee.
No, I think their goal, I think they're saying they want to redirect.
We want to redirect it.
Yes.
That's what they're saying.
Yep.
But it said,
I
well,
disagree with that, but-
let's read it. It says redirect the library renovation project towards solving the water intrusion problem?
In the most
That's-
reasonable way, comma, maintaining and stabilizing the building while working to assess and recommend improvements for computer and internet technical issues, period.
That's already in the charge, all of
That's
that.
different than the total charge, though.
So are you taking away the rest of the charge to the community?
You think after we meet with the library, we'll vote on that?
So that's,
After we meet with the committee, I gotta say the whole name. The
no, you don't have to
library.
say that. But see, this is what I was talking about when we had
Well, it's
our
interesting you
meeting.
point that out because
Is there
I
things
remember
in
it
our
started out as the
goal
water
that
intrusion committee. And then I think
preempt?
you were the one who said, no, it's renovations and improvements. By the time
Well,
you
no,
got done naming
said-
that committee.
John said that we shouldn't call it the Water Intrusion Committee at that meeting. I went back and looked and then.
Right, but
we
then
came up
you
with a-
suggested it, right?
Yeah, we came up with a
You
different name.
named the committee,
Is
the
there, can I like
renovations
do a
and
point of order or
improvements.
something?
I'm sorry. I know that was a thing.
So this goes back to the conversation we were having on the 23rd about how some of the stuff that was just a draft preempted the actual work of a committee or a goal. It assumed something. For instance, we were saying that we wanted the library committee to come make a presentation, and that yet after that we had these 3 things, or in the draft were 3 things that were going to happen anyway. And that language was taken out because it preempted any presentation. This redirecting the library renovation, I mean, if that is the goal of some of the members of this council, then to take that action, then that seems also, so maybe that's what John's been saying. This goal needs to exist even before the library committee, full name excluded, comes back to us. Because they're going to have to do a different kind of work than they've been charged with.
Well, I think we want a full report, right?
This doesn't indicate this. This
big cost.
indicates redirecting their work.
So let's change the RE to direct the library renovation project towards.
I think whether it's direct or redirect.
Is it
And-
different than what
and-
they're currently doing? Because those terms imply.
It is different than their current charge.
So that needs to somehow be addressed before they even come back to talk to us, right?
No.
Well, why
We're
would
just-
we
we're
have
s-
them work on that full charge when
We're
some
not.
members of the council
But what
don't
work are
want
they
them to
doing
work
now,
on that?
other than getting a cost estimate,
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for next.
which they're not doing, someone outside is.
But they have a broader plan that they're working with. I mean, they have this whole,
Right.
which seems to be not the same as what this goal is saying.
You weren't sure of that a minute ago, but you're correct.
No, I'm still sure of that.
Okay.
I'm quite sure that this bullet point contradicts the charge that they were given and the work that they're doing. So the question is, if we're having this goal, or some of us are supporting this goal, and we're also saying they need to come back to us, I guess they need that. This is why we need to adopt these goals, right, John? Because that committee needs to know they have to change what they're doing.
Well, the council would need to, I mean, the real goal would be, at some point, when the council feels comfortable with it, to revise their charge.
Okay. So I
But
disagree
until
with
that
this goal.
happens, they have to operate under the charge they have, correct?
Yep.
Right.
I
And
don't
they
support- I just-
gave a presentation with, but they don't have
Which is
real
what she was holding, right?
costs
Yeah.
yet. Right?
Okay.
No, they paid a cost estimate to do it. We have a
Right.
second opinion.
Yep.
So,
And
As-
that was presented to the council in that PowerPoint presentation.
Right.
That
But they didn't have
wasn't
full
at that
charge,
meeting.
they didn't have full cost, but yes.
so I just disagree with that bullet point in the
That's
goal,
fine.
and I don't support that.
It happens when you
Ditto.
vote, though. We don't need to go through each one and have you tell us that you don't support it necessarily each time.
Well, are we going to vote goal by goal?
No, I don't
No,
know.
I don't.
Okay, so then I'm just
Then
going to say
this
right
is
now,
the
I'm not sure what I'm going to
opportunity.
be able to do later on, but this is one that I don't support.
Okay.
I also
think it's
don't
fair.
support that one the way it is.
All right, so number 2, fiscal responsibility. Is there anything here that people?
Well, I'm sorry, can I
Yeah.
back up?
Sure.
Did we make any changes to number one?
Well, I thought we were making a second bullet out
Yeah.
of complete the projects with the bond referendum. Yep.
And
we
you may
that
have changed
noted.
redirect to direct.
I don't think that got changed.
I don't think it got changed.
I don't know that it mattered.
Because then we went a little further, and then once the firm costs, we,
So that's
So
staying,
that's-
that's remaining with the first
That
paragraph.
stays with
that goes up.
That goes up to the library section, yeah.
okay.
And the second bullet is complete the projects paid for, provided for,
Approved.
Covered by or
covered by
approved?
the already passed bond referendum, so.
Approved by the bond, approved by the bond referendum.
Should be a space after that, parentheses too.
Yeah.
Get rid of the parentheses. Complete the projects paid for.
Well, the elevator is actually part of the library, even though it's in that bond.
Correct, but it wasn't limited to the bullet, is what you're saying, that there were other bond issues.
Yes.
So we could take out the parentheses saying that says elevator if it's confusing unless we want to list other items, that's what.
Well, yeah.
That's my point, is that like
Just get rid of
asbestos
it.
flooring and firewalls.
Yeah, so we'll just take out the parentheses.
Well,
It's not-
take out elevator and et cetera. I mean, if
Right.
we're going to list them, we should list all of them.
Right.
So take that out, and then once we get firm costs, it goes up to the other
Correct.
library bill.
The first bullet.
So what did it complete the projects provided for or approved?
Approved.
In the
Already
bond
passed.
referendum, or in the already passed bond referendum, right, that's fine. Next one.
Yep, number 2, fiscal responsibility. Will work to maintain the current tax rate or lower it while providing sufficient resources for needed services and projects.
So it shouldn't say fiscal responsibility because it's already under a heading, fiscal responsibility.
I agree.
Okay, that's
And there's a bullet point missing that we agreed on. I did go back and look in the minutes. We agreed to say ensure continued excellence in fiscal reporting, resulting in award-winning clean audits and continued increases in our positive bond rating with the goal of reaching the highest rating possible.
We said that at our meeting?
We said that, sounds
Maybe
good.
that's a suggestion. I thought we talked about it.
That sounds great.
Well, then let's just put it in.
I don't think it was ever discussed.
All right, just put it in. No. Anyway, whether we discussed it or not, would you like to add that?
I would like to add that.
Could we hear it again? So we
Sure.
have just a clear understanding.
Ensure continued excellence in fiscal reporting, resulting in award-winning clean audits and continued increases in our positive bond rating with the goal of reaching the highest rating possible.
That's pretty good.
I don't even know if I wrote that.
You must have.
Second.
It's what time is
I know
it?
it's not a motion.
It's an e-motion.
You want me to say it again?
No.
No, that sounds good. No?
So
Someone got it, right?
I'm trying to just, to make sure I mean, it's a laudable goal. I don't know that it's something that we're going to achieve.
We have been.
We've been
jumped up
achieving
two
it.
The highest bond rating? No, you have
Oh,
not.
we're working towards that.
Working
We're getting
towards
close.
it.
I didn't get
It's just
all that she talked.
Identifying the.
So did you say
direction.
working towards?
Working
Continue
towards.
working towards? Okay. I thought it was like we were going to be.
Well, of course we are.
We're not gonna get there.
Well,
Now until we
It
have.
doesn't exist yet.
Are you going to specify Standard & Poor's versus Moody's? Because that's the difference in the ratings.
Yeah, but even with
So-
Standard & Poor's, we're not gonna move up until
No,
we have.
I understand.
more
I understand.
commercial.
But I'm saying that the reason why we made such a jump
I
in
mean,
our
we could take
bond-
that away if you want.
The reason why we made, I'm sorry.
There are a couple reasons.
Can you,
No, I understand, Jen.
you brought this up.
Okay.
So the other two okay, Phyllis?
Was that a third bullet for that?
Yes, you would.
Yes.
Okay. We're
This
getting
is
rid of
under
fiscal
the fiscal
responsibility.
responsibility one,
Which
right?
is no
Yes.
longer fiscal responsibility. It just starts
Just
with.
we will work.
Oh, right, no, but I mean, under the big heading. Big,
Yeah.
non-numbered, big,
Why isn't it called
centered.
fiscal responsibility?
I was it because it.
Because it's
It's
under
under
fiscal
here.
It's already,
responsibility.
Oh, okay.
it's under the big heading.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I was just gonna say, so hire a consultant to study feasibility, and I think there was something,
So did we determine we will hire
was there
a
a cost?
consultant? Or we will determine, I'm asking Julie.
We will talk about it. We have to
So
find
that's
out
why we,
the
so consider
cost.
hiring?
Yeah.
Do we?
Consider hiring a consultant? Otherwise, John's going to put it in the budget that you're going to hire a consultant.
Mhm.
That's why I'm asking the question.
Well, when will he know if?
Well, it may not happen in this budget.
That's,
That might
that was
be
my
the next
question
budget.
is,
Yeah.
if so, there's a cost to it, and how do we pay for it, and.
Right.
So consider hiring a consultant to study the feasibility. There you go. I think we also said before we hired a consultant in our discussions, we were going to ask information from other towns that already done this, and we were going to get further information before deciding whether we hired a consultant, so.
There were a lot of steps to go through.
That's what the discussion said in our meeting, so I don't think it was hire a consultant. It was consider hiring a consultant.
Right.
And even if it was, we reserve the right to change our mind.
Okay. Thank you.
You wanna put those other steps in there?
Yeah.
Just consider hiring.
Inquire.
Consider to hire a consultant.
Consider hiring a consultant.
And inquire of other towns that have been through this process.
Well, how about, gather information from other towns that have gone through this process?
So, procedure, I would put that first before you can even consider hiring a consultant.
Correct.
Right.
That was our discussion during the meeting. I don't know how we, in this case, Lisa's 100% right, and now we're working from a different document than maybe what we thought we did when we were.
Clean slate.
Just do the rest.
Because remember, John, you talked about, some towns that were still on admins and did this and that, and some that switched and some went back, and we did all kinds of, and you saw you could gather some, there would be useful information before we decided if we're going to hire a consultant. So,
Do we have to add all that?
well, John's putting
I think
something
it's
just
just
as
Other
action.
information on other towns' experiences with joint finance
There you go.
operation.
Yep. Thank you.
Then consider consulting to study the feasibility of providing town board of finance funds. Share results.
So you have that so that, because I don't think I'll make the minutes otherwise.
Yeah, gather information on other towns' experiences with joint fiscal operations, with their finance operations. Then going on to consider hiring a consultant, study feasibility of providing town and board of finance departments, and share the results of studies and have an open dialogue with the Board of Education on results and recommendations.
So I would change the share results to if a study is undertaken, then share the results of the study. And have an open dialogue with the Board of Education on results and recommendations.
And with a period.
Yep. Okay, next bullet. Communicate with our elected state representatives and encourage them to pursue spending cuts with the least negative effect to municipal governments, eliminate unfunded and burdensome mandates on the town and board, and streamline efficiencies in government departments.
So I would add after spending cuts at the state level.
Okay, Lisa?
So elected state representatives, we need to change that because that really, since it's both capitalized, so elected state officials,
What if we
state
just-
representatives and
I think we had officials
senators,
originally.
representative and
Officials, yeah.
senators, state legislators.
There you go.
That works. I was going to just make the capital R into a small r.
You could do that too.
But I like
legislators.
legislators kind of drives it home.
Plus, we only have one state.
Little r representatives
Big
can be
R.
all of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Next goal would be infrastructure.
This is a short one.
Nope.
Support infrastructure projects to support residents and existing businesses, encourage and attract new businesses, fix insufficiencies/construction errors, and improve town services and ability to respond to emergencies. Oversee the protection of the town's investments by maintaining all town equipment, buildings, and infrastructure. Our first bullet under this, evaluate the final offering for a microgrid project to determine the value of the offer and recognize the value of the increased capabilities. Move forward with the microgrid project if the final offer makes sense economically for the town. If the town does not move forward with this proposal, we will continue to explore other options. Okay. Next bullet, work with our electrical provider to remove as many trees as possible that threaten our town electrical service and focus additional state and town resources on identifying and removing any trees, parentheses, the town is responsible for, close parentheses, that may represent a problem for Coventry citizens.
So in our minutes, it says that we change this to state, town, and grant resources.
I like that better.
Okay. Next bullet, secure the promised TAR, town aid for road funds, from the state and put in place a plan to enable the town to catch up on the postponed.
There's something missing there, either work or projects.
Yeah.
So projects maybe, or work, just say work.
Work.
Road work, how about that, road work?
Yeah, I
Road
would
work.
say, 'cause
Road
that's
work.
what we're talking about.
Yep.
To catch up on the postponed road work due to the lack of state funding.
How about delayed state funding?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not necessarily
Well, we hope.
currently delayed state funding. Next bullet, develop a maintenance plan for the community center. And this is at Patriots Park.
I'm sorry?
I like that one, it only has a few words.
Right.
It's interesting that you added the at Patriots Park. Should that be in there? It's very descriptive.
Julie,
Do
We
you
only
have
got
one
one
in
community.
one
I
community?
understand that, but
Right.
sometimes just for clarity, it doesn't hurt.
It's
So we're gonna say community center at Patriots Park. Next bullet, work with our committee to resolve the high school wall structural deficiencies in the most cost-efficient manner for the safety of Coventry students.
I think we need to name the committee.
So,
Work with the,
CHS Walls Building Committee, I believe that's what it's called.
I have another goal.
so
Work to shorten
is
the
it
names of
confusing
committees.
that we're doing it in the most cost-effective manner for the safety of Coventry students? Wouldn't it be resolved the high school walls structural deficiencies for the safety of Coventry students in the most cost-efficient manner?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be better?
Sounds better.
Does it even need to say most cost-efficient manner? I mean,
Yes.
obviously, we're going to
That's our goal.
do that. I mean, it makes it seem like safety isn't the first goal. It makes it sound like cost efficiency is the first goal.
Not if it says we're corrected for the safety of Coventry students in the most cost-efficient manner.
That makes it a little better.
Yeah.
Sure, switch that around.
Okay. Next bullet, encourage the Senior Housing Options Committee to identify the scope of the need for alternative senior housing options and to pursue market-based solutions. Ask the Planning and Zoning Commission to review regulations to address affordability.
Capitalize the name of the committee.
Yes.
And were we gonna also ask Planning and Zoning to consider?
That's what he did. For affordability, that's how we phrased it.
Okay.
One question, though, we're not dictating that they do a market study, correct?
Oh, is this because the word market-based solution?
Well, I just don't want any confusion.
Those are Julie's words.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
She said those were Julie's words, but I'm just trying to make sure of the goal. We're not dictating that they do a market study. That's costly.
No, she's saying that it's a market-based versus the governmental-based.
Right.
Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
So instead of pursue,
Market-based?
say consider?
So I'm going from the first part, encourage senior housing options to identify the scope of the need.
Right.
Is that, can be done in a lot of ways. Do we want to specify in any part of that?
Well, you already have the committee's charge.
They sound like
Okay.
me.
All right, good. Everybody's happy, I'm fine.
Did you want to talk about
I
changing
do agree
pursue
with
to
what
consider?
Matt Senior is saying, but
Sorry.
Which is,
like possibly changing the word pursue to consider or include.
Yeah.
okay.
Do you have a preferred term?
Consider is reasonable, that way.
Consider.
If
Yeah,
it
consider.
works or doesn't work, they
Yeah.
can consider
Okay.
it.
Consider it is.
Okay? Next bullet, maintain current town properties and assets and explore having the town take lead for building facilities, maintenance, and janitorial care of all town and school buildings.
Fine.
Okay, next bullet, work to complete grants.
Yeah, it should say projects instead of grants.
Yep.
Plural?
Yes, because there's a whole list of them.
Okay. Work to complete projects for the realignment at the intersection of Swamp Road and Route 44, our South Street Lot Zip project,
Let's
Main
capitalize Lot
Street
Zip.
Community Connectivity Sidewalk, and both Folly Lane and Hop River Road Bridge replacements.
All the letters in lots of should be capital.
Right.
Sorry. I forgot you were reading the whole thing. I jumped in, I'm sorry.
Okay, next bullet.
So this one seems redundant. Oh, maybe it's not. Go ahead.
We list the projects.
No, the next one.
Okay.
Study the current community center. Evaluate the building and determine if a future
Yeah, it
replacement.
does. It should be able to be combined with Lisa's nice.
Well, you wanna-
little
You could
simple
strike that
one.
first one.
Well, you could
No,
develop
but-
a short-term maintenance project.
There are
and
two
then-
different things, yeah.
And then study the, bring the other one up as combining into, but study the short-term maintenance and then.
See, we still keep making it longer.
Listen, I tried.
Yeah, one
I
is
tried too.
immediate future.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead now, Julie.
All
Sorry.
right, so we're good with that one. Did I even get through it all? Study the current community center, evaluate the building, and determine if a future replacement makes the most fiscally responsible sense.
So once you develop a maintenance plan, that gives you information towards
Right.
that decision.
I changed that slightly to, from makes to would be, so, and determine if a future replacement would be the most fiscally responsible avenue to pursue, or solution to pursue.
You added a
like
bunch
1,000
of words there. It
words.
got longer.
No.
Got a lot longer.
I only added like 4 words.
I'm just messing.
But does it mean the same
So I
thing?
changed makes to will be, that's only adding 1 word. Then I,
All right. Our next bullet.
I'm sorry, did you combine those two bullets? the
No.
No,
minutes?
we
No,
did not.
okay.
We, the one up
No, we
I
don't.
just did short-term.
we added the word short.
Well, we should probably move it up underneath that, just so.
yeah, so it's
So
clear.
they're near
Reordering
each
the
other.
bullets probably
Okay.
makes sense.
That's a good one.
All right, last bullet on this page. Pursue grants for Orchard Hills senior housing renovations and upgrades.
That's a good one. So yes.
Putting in a steep thing might be a good idea.
Right. Ties right in. All right. Still under infrastructure, on number 4, continue our efforts to improve sports facilities, conduct a study to determine additional needs. And then we have 2 bullets under that. Work to provide short-term solutions to the immediate needs for girls' softball fields and determine the most advantageous and economical way to find suitable permanent fields for their use. And then the next bullet, continue to improve the other sports field through increased water availability, restroom facilities where appropriate, and better coordinated maintenance and care.
Could we think about changing the word better at the end of that last one to continue and continue coordinated maintenance and care?
So it starts with continue,
Okay.
and then you want to say
Continue
and
to
continue.
improve.
Well, it's continue to improve
Restroom
the other sports fields
facilities.
through increased water availability. That's what facilities.
But we want
Add
to
restroom facilities where appropriate.
the better coordinated. We want to do a better job at coordinating our maintenance.
Improve coordination of maintenance and care.
Yep. And improve coordination.
Improve coordination? I don't know. I'm just making a suggestion of words here. I don't know.
It's a good goal. Improve. Improve coordination. Of.
Improve coordination
Of,
of
yes.
maintenance and care. All right.
Just so I understand, coordinate with whom? I mean, where are we not coordinating?
That was
That's a good question.
where I was coming from with continuing coordinating.
So there's coordination with the schools, correct? Or no, you're only talking about
Well, the fields, we
But there
do
are,
all of
they,
it.
we
Town
take
does
care of
all
the
of them, yeah.
fields.
without any communication with the schools?
No, we coordinate with the schools and with the leagues.
Yeah.
Right, so you're
But
trying
so
to get
that's
more
just
use out of the
impl-
field.
That's just understood in this or not? You want it?
I'm just trying to say, this is saying that when.
We need
that
to improve.
I need to know what the deficiency is.
All right, continue to improve the other sports fields through increased water availability, comma, add restroom facilities where appropriate, comma, and continue coordinating with the schools, local recreational leagues, and recreational leagues for maintenance. What did you mean, Joe?
Yeah.
Well, my thought is sometimes that the town maintains and does the work. They line the fields. And I thought occasionally the rec people want to help do these things, but we try, I don't know, it just,
It was also timing sometimes. I mean, we have had some, I think we've had some, and I'm not saying they're valid, complaints. So
We had one
coordination-
time
so
where
improving coordination.
softball gave us the wrong date.
Right. So I'm
we
saying
didn't show
improving.
up because they gave us the wrong date.
So would that be improving coordination?
I
But
guess,
it's not our fault.
but is there a
That's more
deficiency? I guess the
communication.
question is there a
Wasn't
deficiency?
communication part of coordination?
Do you have a goal for one-time event?
No, but,
I'm
so I
just
guess the
trying to
core
figure out
question
what we're trying to do here.
is there something lacking? Or should that just
Maybe we
not
just.
be there?
And in terms of-
Go back to what John said, continue coordinated maintenance and
Yeah.
care.
Fine.
That's fine.
Okay,
Continue coordination.
just change the word
If you
better.
want to list with whom we're coordinating, that could happen too.
Let's not add more words.
We still don't know.
Next one. Well, we're getting there.
Okay, go ahead. If you want to add that in, I mean, I was joking about not adding it, but if you want to spell it out who we're coordinating with, I think, because you asked the question, coordinate with who?
With the Board Ed leagues, is the
Yeah.
addition.
Board of Ed and leagues. Right, Tom?
That sounds good.
Sports leagues. Sports leagues.
Yeah. Environment. Number 5, continue our lake management treatments to contain and eradicate the hydrilla and fanwort invasive species. Work with the state's new program that provides a dedicated stream of funding for invasive plant treatments and secure the maximum amount of funding we can through this program.
Should either fanwort be capital or hydrilla be small? I'm just,
I think they should just both be small.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
they're not that important.
No.
All right, next, number 6, protect our rural character while working to support our existing businesses and create an environment that will help attract new businesses.
It doesn't say yes. If you'd like to add that, that's fine.
Yes.
New business.
I thought new
Sorry.
businesses.
We could attract more than one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Good.
The numbers 5 and 6 shouldn't be there. There should be bullet points.
Yeah.
Or,
We
wait
had-
a minute, wait,
We're-
it's,
no, we're-
oh, we do have.
Far down
numbers.
that
Wait,
rabbit hole. But
You have multiple points under a number used.
So fiscal responsibility has 1, 2, 3,
I think if it's
4
bold, it's
things.
the main idea.
Environment should have 1 and 2. It just kind of started automatically, kept going.
I'm sorry, I lost what you were
Well,
saying.
infrastructure is 3 and 4.
Right, so
If you have a point, then you have bullet points under it, under that point.
So we have fiscal responsibility. The first goal is number 1. The second goal is number 2 under fiscal responsibility, correct? Then we have infrastructure.
Goal 3, or 4.
So
The difference is that
we're
you
just going to
have-
say that's goal number 3, not the first goal under infrastructure. Okay.
I have a change to public safety, number 7.
Okay.
Oh,
wait.
can we go back to environment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had said, I thought that we were going to support striving towards sustainable Connecticut Gold certification
we
when
did.
available. We
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, that was in our minutes.
Where'd it go?
It just,
It's okay.
this is the,
It's a
and I
lot
know
to
there's a
sift
lot going
through.
on, I'm not blaming anybody, but this is one of the things where I was like, wait, there's a difference between what we. Anyway, whatever, we're doing it now.
I'd also like to see.
Wait, so is that
So-
number
you
7
actually
or?
said-
Do we have the wording for the,
Support, if you, this word,
Striving
okay,
towards-
support striving towards sustainable Connecticut or sustainable CT, actually that probably should be a capital S, right? Sustainable CT Gold certification when available.
right now there isn't one.
Yeah, it doesn't exist yet, right, John?
Where it's silver.
So do you want to say when it becomes available, just so it's clear?
Really clear.
Right, but
that's
those
fine.
2 words are deducted from your next suggestion.
Keeping a running total.
You're down 2.
That's it.
All right.
And there were, so there were a couple of other things, and I'm
So
going
is
to be
that
honest,
number
at this
7?
point.
Is that not number 7?
Well, yeah.
This is, yeah, so that would be 7. And then, John, help me remember from when we were talking, whether this was in the minutes or I just want to add this. I'd like to see something about support, continuing to support our Open Spaces Stewardship Committee and efforts to continue to improve and maintain
We did-
town
we
open
did
land.
talk
We
about
said that,
We
right?
did have
Yes.
something about that,
We
absolutely.
did say that too, yes.
Just wait till I go home and tell everyone I'm not losing it.
All right.
So now there's 4 under environment, right?
Correct. So that would be number 7 and number 8.
Yep. So 8.
And there's actually one more that we talked about.
What was
Yep.
that?
support continued investment in forestry management for public safety.
I like it even if we didn't, I don't remember talking about it, but I like that, that's fine.
Well, I think
I
it
probably
appeared
used up all
somewhere
my
else.
word bank now, too.
Is it already somewhere else?
Maybe.
Is that under?
As I remember.
Oh, is that, well, cutting down the trees on the roadways is different than forestry
Then, yeah,
management.
the forestry management is like the open space or the greenway or, right?
Not just.
It's not just the roads and things like that.
Right, like two separate kind of avenues, for lack of a better
Oh, I
word.
didn't get to them.
So those are 7, 8, and 9 under environment.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Sorry, so we're going to change all the numbers from there forward,
Yeah.
just to be clear.
And there might be a 10.
No, I don't think so. She's cutting me down on words, right? She's adding whole sections.
My words are, yeah.
No, but I thank you, because those are things we, didn't really
I think we
remember.
talked about them. And what about explore partnerships for open space opportunities as they arise?
It was
in there.
We did talk about that too. That couldn't go into the open space one that you just, I can't remember the wording, so I don't know.
No, that was the open space stewardship. I mean, we could try to combine it into, no, it's different.
Okay. But yes, those were all discussed.
So now we're up to.
Except the one I wasn't sure about.
And I'm just gonna ask, how many more can I sneak in there?
Under this?
Now that you are agreeing with all
Now's
these
the
things, we're
time.
very
Yeah.
agreeable.
This is when we should do it.
Let's see.
Give her an inch, you know?
Richard just gave me his words. He hasn't said a word all night. That's a lot of words.
Yeah.
All right, so you're good right now?
So
Thank
the first one under public safety is number 11 now, is that correct?
Yep.
Well, automatically number 1.
Okay. So work with the Board of Education to continue to improve security. We made that change in the meeting. John, actually, you proposed the language. Do you remember?
Continue to improve.
It wasn't in my notes because I was talking and trying to keep notes.
Right, it's very difficult.
Probably should say continue to improve.
That's
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you just said that?
Look at the
I get my
agreement
words
going
back.
on here. It's like you guys are like one mind.
I'm going to take those as your 2 words, though, so I got 2 more
All
coming.
right, you can have them.
All right. To improve security in our schools, including consideration of 1 or more resource officers.
Next would be now
Number 12, I
number
guess.
12, continue to support the police department, continue to support the technological capabilities that enhance their ability to perform their duties more efficiently and safely.
So there should be a word between support and the technological capabilities. I don't know what that word should be, but continue to support
There.
the inclusion or their technology. Okay.
Advancement.
Yeah, that works.
So change the to there.
Yes.
All right, next, number 13 would be continue to work with our volunteer fire departments to develop a single volunteer fire department serving the entire town of Coventry. Work with the fire and emergency
Yes.
service department to retain current members, attract new members, and make certain they have the resources needed to properly train
Them.
and support,
Them.
train them
And
support the equipment and apparatus needs of the department while managing costs effectively.
Good. Anybody? Oh, Lisa wants to change something.
No, I'm
Okay.
Okay, go to the next one.
Is that the plural of apparatus?
Lisa said call the next one down.
Oh, wait, no.
Apparati?
Apparatus. You want the apparatus.
I'll Google that, I don't think so.
I think it's just, it's like
Wondering.
fish, right?
Yeah.
It's just plural and singular the same.
All right,
Fleet?
you can let us know.
No, we don't want to see that.
I think it's fine.
Yep, I do too.
Apparatus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next item would be number 14 now. Explore when appropriate opportunities to work with other towns, including possibly providing public safety services to other towns for appropriate fees.
I think there is water over there. John, is there water here? Or soda?
No, those have been there, I wouldn't take.
Those are dated.
Oh, he wouldn't drink that, you said.
Well,
It was fine.
I don't know. Well,
Waters are gone, somebody grab them.
There are cups and sinks.
yeah, there are cups, there are sinks.
There are.
Cups are right here, Matt. Oh, there's cups back there too, sorry, never mind.
Okay. It says the soda's fine.
All right, next, government,
Number 79.
governmental transparency is going to be number 15.
So, wait, before we move along, just a little discussion on 14. So about the public safety services for the towns, we're talking about having our police department that we fund.
Well, we were already
Is-
talking
is
about
that
ambulance
correct?
also.
I'm
Ambulance
sorry?
also. Ambulance, things like that.
Okay, public safety, thank you. Okay. I guess maybe the term public safety.
Actually, we talked
Had me
about that,
think
and
of
that's
this.
what we came up with. I don't know, if it doesn't work, I'm happy that, that's what we decided.
took a lot
The
of words
benefit
to
of
put into
time
two.
elapsing between now and then, and a fresh-er set of eyes.
Yep.
It's late then, and it's late now. I don't know, that was my read on it. If we need more than that, is that emergency services? Is that?
Oh, it could be police services. I'm not opposed to that.
I don't know,
suggestion.
I didn't
Some towns
author
have
it,
approached
so I
us
don't
to
know
see
what
if
the
it's
goal, what
possible.
the actual, what's behind the goal.
Well, there's also discussion about whether we want an ambulance or, we don't know yet.
That's why we're exploring.
It's sort of, it's just.
Public safety was broader than just police.
Yeah, okay.
Right. He wanted to just say ambulance, and I'm saying it also includes
No,
police.
no, I didn't want
Oh.
to say any of it. I wanted to understand it. Like,
Okay.
literally, like, it escaped me, that little part of it. Is this, we're talking about taking our police department and saying, hey, other towns want to hire our police department or something like that.
We've had 3 different towns ask us, 4 actually,
Okay.
5. We've had 5 other towns. The chief has met with them to see whether they want to talk about a regional police department or contract services or.
So it's just an exploration.
But that goes over 2 decades of time.
Yeah.
Nobody has wanted to come forward with willing to pay for it, but.
There you go.
Yeah,
That was
cover
where my
account
mind
for
went
us.
was,
Weird
wait, we pay for
development
that.
there.
Where does that come, anyway.
Well,
Okay, I
as
guess
the state-
that's all part of the exploration. I'm sorry, moving on.
As the state changes funding for state troopers, this becomes a different discussion.
Yeah, I do understand. I do understand the motivation of other towns to start looking, because they did recently change it, right? And that's when,
And it keeps going.
one of the times, towns.
Townsville's paying more now than we are.
All right, next goal, government,
Really? Not including
governmental
Yukon.
transparency. Number 15, increase transparency where possible. Do not proceed hastily. Be sure the council has the proper time to review and/or vet what is proposed.
Could we take out do not proceed hastily and just say be sure, or make sure, I don't know what the right word is.
Ensure.
Ensure
Where
the
possible,
council has the proper time to review and/or vet what is proposed.
How about-
I'm trying to take back some
Just-
words here.
Yeah, so you can have those 4 words, and I'll give you
Okay.
and we'll get rid of the period.
Ensure.
Well, all right, so say it, somebody say it whole.
Increase transparency where possible, and be sure that the council, oh, you have to put it though, and be sure that the council has proper time to review and/or vet what is proposed.
Is it be sure or ensure? We changed it to, so it's
No,
one
she
word
was
instead of two.
making it and be sure.
Yeah,
It says be sure.
right, we're changing it to ensure, so it's one word?
Is that EN or IN?
Ian.
Either one.
Ensure.
actually.
No, it's not ensure. That would be
That's something you
make
drink.
insurance.
Yeah, I know.
Ensure is to make sure it occurs.
Okay. Wanna look it
We
up?
could do ensure.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Increase transparency where possible, and ensure that the council has proper time to review and/or vet what is proposed. Right?
Okay.
First bullet, mill is MIL, I believe, correct?
Yeah,
I keep seeing it different ways, but I know it's supposed to be one way.
Educate the public on the budget
Are they
and
both
mill
acceptable?
I was like,
rate.
there's no, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Mills can be either way, but I
Yeah.
like it when it's one, we know what we're talking about, 1L.
So we just
So you want
want
to
to,
get the hell out of here.
Yeah, get the hell out of here. There
That's
you go.
very nice. I found this very taxing.
well, it's a goal for us to be sure if the public has any questions that we're able to answer them and to share as much information as we can so people have a complete understanding.
So that's one of the things where, and I'll raise it again to see if it can make it into the goal, and maybe that's too much detail, was the opportunity for like those little explainer videos. Something that can be, kind of, we invest in that once, the process probably is not going to change, and it can be every time it's that season again, and there's new people, like new homeowners or something, or, you know.
I'm just a
You know what I mean?
business that
Exactly,
you-
yes, a lot like Schoolhouse Rock, yes. Something like that would explain it. We don't need the music, maybe, I don't know.
I think that
I think
helps.
Julie wants to
It would
say.
help.
I think we need the music.
Julie,
Launching her
Julie's
career.
gonna star in a line of PSAs about, I'm just a mill.
So consider creating informational videos? Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
Monument Hill.
Lewis Hill.
Consider creating educational videos? Is that sufficient?
I like that. Yeah, explainer videos, or, yeah.
Is that all part of bullet one?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, actually, I have a little bit of practice with those videos.
Richard's gonna make the videos.
So you're gonna make the videos?
No, we've been doing it with the Pepper Owners Association. We've been doing blackboard, whiteboard videos, and they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I think, John, you mentioned something too.
Doodly.
Doodly.
I bought Doodly software.
Totally
you have that?
Doodly.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oakley
They
dokley.
want to sell me Toonly, which is cartoonily, so they run around, the characters run around too.
That'd be kind of fun.
I'm going to trust you guys for the next
So
couple.
Are you sure?
It's like $89.
Great, we
I
have
don't
2
know.
minutes.
I know.
2
Let's
minutes.
go.
Hurry up.
Change everything you want. Go ahead, do it now.
You're a professional speaker and the whole thing.
Reduce local
Yeah.
government.
All right, next bullet. Review and repeal unnecessary or obsolete ordinances or policies. Almost like the couple that we're having coming up under public hearing. Our
There we
personnel
go.
appeals board is not necessary. Let's get it off there.
Look at that, we're meeting our
Yeah,
goals
repeal
already.
unnecessary. Yep. Okay, next bullet, reduce local government regulatory roadblocks for citizens when possible and streamline services. And John had indicated that the town hall's philosophy is let's get to yes if we can. If there's no way there, let's quickly explain that it's no.
Why do I have this written down? Does it go with this? Facilitate streamlining services through automation and regulatory review when possible.
I have exactly that written down
But
in
is
my
it
notes
for
of what
this
we
here?
agreed on. That's what we agreed on in the
So,
meeting.
that sounds more like building permits online and.
Isn't that regulatory roadblocks?
I have
No, streamline
reduced
services.
local, we added the word local, is that in here? Yes, it is, that is. Government regulatory.
So how
I have
would you guys-
facilitate,
go with it.
facilitate
Not really
somewhere else.
streamlining services through automation and regulatory relief when possible.
I might be in the wrong
Remember
place.
that.
That's right.
We hammered it out once, and that's another one where I was like.
I
that's
remember
not
the
in here.
discussion, I don't know if it was here. I remember talking about the online comments.
Automation.
Oh. I mean, clearly,
Maybe it
we
was
wanna
under
go in that
economic
direction.
development.
Nobody doesn't want to go in that direction, it's just about. how we
Don't
talk
we do it
about
already?
Well, I think you raised an interesting point, Richard, that, you know, it is something that we constantly do, I think. So I guess it'll be a good goal to put, because we're already doing some of it.
It'd be very reachable.
All right, so are we
We have
leaving this
45
bullet
seconds.
as it is right now? Yeah, right. All right, so the next numbered item would be number 16, work with the Board of Education to continue to improve the information provided to the council. First bullet, provide accurate and complete information about the revenues and costs associated with running the town preschool.
Could
That
we-
doesn't read
oh.
right because we're not providing anything.
Yeah.
Well, it should probably be boards preschool.
How about, oh, hang on a second. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
What was the
So-
suggestion?
from town to boards.
It says town preschool, it's the Board of Education.
So you probably want to instead of provide, ask or request accurate.
Can we say request comprehensive information?
Got rid of
Hasn't
4
that
goals.
been happening already?
You did? This seems like a very
Not to the
achievable
level
goal.
we would like to know and understand.
Then somehow you have to word the bullet point.
Right. So we're on what is now going to be number 16.
Old 12.
And it just doesn't read right by starting with the word provide. We're looking to be provided with.
Unless you're providing it to the taxpayers.
I think that was the intent.
Okay.
But the heading is information provided
Work
to
with
the
the
council.
board,
Right.
How about collaborate with the Board of Education to provide, go from there.
Mhm.
Comprehensive information.
Well, again, if you're asking information.
Oh, yeah,
from them,
right. What do you want to accomplish here?
The word provide is the wrong word.
Requests.
Yeah. Or receive, or.
Request would take care of it.
So the question, while you're on the room, accurate and complete, whether that should be comprehensive
Okay.
versus
Yeah.
accurate and complete.
Yep.
You like comprehensive?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
To request comprehensive information about the revenues and costs associated with running the BOE preschool.
So I'm just asking a question because I wasn't here, maybe you talked about this. So is the goal to, what are we going to do with the information? Is it just for us to know?
No, it's transparency for our citizens, for us and our whole community.
Okay.
So on to the specific.
In order to
Subsection.
inform budgeting,
Mm-hmm.
maybe?
Right, there you go.
To inform budgeting?
So
Or the
it should-
budgeting process or something?
So this is an off budget, just remember that right now, at least it's off budget.
Oh, right. Hmm.
Just no mill rate impact.
Right.
I don't know.
So scratch that part about that because it does not pertain.
Well, we could make the information available during the budget process to the town. Is that what you're thinking, the goal? I'm asking you.
Well, on more than one level. One is for budgeting, one is for educating or sharing information with our citizens, and the third would be for us to have a complete understanding.
So budgeting is not part of it if it's not in the budget.
Don't they give us,
Right, we did
Don't
that with,
they do that already?
we did that with something else though, and move this information to the next one, move this information fully into the budget presented to taxpayers. Something like that might be
Right.
tolerable without including it. It's not actually part of the budget, but it's included with the budget package so that people have it available.
but
Maybe that bullet shouldn't be there, maybe it should just be the second
Yes.
bullet.
doesn't the Board of Education already provide a report on the preschool?
I think
They
there's.
they do a report. You'd have to determine whether you think it's comprehensive, I guess.
Okay.
That's the only difference. And if they already are, then that goal would be met.
Then we met it, or they met it for us.
Because it's
Just has to go.
it's a monthly, they provide a monthly statement, or sort of where that is, where it sits.
Do you have any questions about anything when you read it?
They do.
Then it's not comprehensive for them. And you might like more information.
Well, comprehensive is, I guess, complete in that.
That was actually in
Sense.
complete sense, yeah.
I think the word comprehensive
That's good.
contains both accurate and complete.
Complete.
Yeah, I do too.
And then, but to your point you were getting at with Richard though, right? If the information's the information, once you have it, you have it. You can't take it and read into whatever, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing more to.
Maybe there needs to be
I don't
more of
know.
a focus on dialogue, like
Sure.
continued dialogue with the Board of Education about revenues and costs associated with
Well-
running the BOE preschool in order to stay informed and plan for the future, or
Ooh,
I like
that sounded
that.
really
Something
good.
like that.
I'm interested.
That sounds good.
So the heading is work with the Board of Education, so you could also get that dialogue in that
Mhm.
line.
Continue dialogue.
Work with and continue dialogue.
just continue dialogue.
So we could just stop there. No.
Yeah, the one bullet point, continue dialogue.
Work with and continue the dialogue with the Board of Education to receive comprehensive information. Trying to figure out something. Not doing a good job.
I don't know if you could work with them to receive information.
Right.
It's one way.
But like at their fiscal meeting, they're gonna have those reports. So.
You get them monthly.
Pardon?
If they're having a fiscal meeting Thursday, I assume that those reports are.
So if you have questions, what would you do?
I wouldn't.
Dialogue.
Would you dialogue with them?
No, you're not allowed. So.
It's just a process you have to go through.
Okay. I guess I just don't understand the goal 100%, so.
So what is the improvement in the information that's being
What more are you
talked
gonna,
about?
what more are you gonna get from them?
What questions did you have? You just said you had more questions when you read the report. I mean, I don't think you need to determine today what everything you're gonna need, but go ahead.
I don't have the report in front of me, so it's getting late, and
Right.
I guess, but I mean, I guess you always have questions about whether it's town or Board of Education, spreadsheets or financial reporting. I mean, I think I sometimes go a little overboard on that sometimes, but sometimes not.
I don't think you can go overboard if it's a matter of gaining information to have a better understanding of the budget, the monies that we're spending, that our citizens are paying in taxes.
Maybe it doesn't need bullet points.
Right.
We have some goals that don't have bullet points. It could just be the goal standing on its own. I think, right?
Good idea.
Yep.
I think the way you said it is good. Some type of comprehensive report that we're able to ask some questions. But we would do that at our joint fiscal meetings.
Right.
That's the bullet point. Continue joint fiscal meetings with the Board of Education in order to have
So
dialogue and.
any questions that we have at fiscal, you would ask with the joint meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So first bullet point would be that, move that up top to after
I think they're trying to make it the goal, John.
the whole
Just
thing.
make the
Yep.
goal number 16.
Continued joint
Continue
meetings and
joint finance/fiscal meetings.
and dialogue outside those meetings, so I don't want to just
Right.
limit it to those meetings, but
Oh, right.
To obtain comprehensive information.
about educational programs.
How about this then? If I'm hearing right, continue joint fiscal, finance fiscal meetings and have an open dialogue to obtain comprehensive information for the council and community.
Yep.
That's good. Very good.
That's.
I hope somebody has that.
Say it again. So is this, so we're wiping out what's
Yes.
under
Yeah.
12 and
It's the new
replacing
goal.
it with what John
This
just
is the
said?
goal.
Okay. Did you get it? Yvonne?
So continue joint finance fiscal meetings and have an open dialogue with the Board of Education to obtain information for the council and the community.
You can say comprehensive information.
Comprehensive information for the council and the community.
I like that.
Okay.
29, what number you in?
Economic development. It's going to be number 17 if I'm not mistaken.
I agree.
Old 13.
This is the last one, by the way.
Continue to work with Bolton/Vernon and the state to secure permission for the extension of the Bolton/Vernon sewer line into Coventry along Route 44. Focus on the need to improve failed septic issues and the potential for future economic development.
So first, John, is it state permit, I mean, is it permission from the state?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought they didn't actually have a say.
No permission to talk.
They will not allow it.
Okay.
So in that,
Is it clear enough, or is there any?
We have to change.
in that
It's in.
bullet? No,
Yes,
I think
it's
we're
also-
back on.
we're outside.
This guy. Yeah, what time is it? Oh. Whenever it says Bolton/Vernon, isn't it the name of it, the Bolton Lake Sewer Authority? Is that
Bolton
correct?
Lakes Regional Sewer Authority, I think.
Bolton Lakes Regional Sewer.
Originally, it said just Bolton, and I just added to /Vernon because it does address the two towns that make up the authority, but
When we met,
But what's the
I
name
think
of
you
it?
specifically pointed out that we needed to say Bolton Lakes Regional Sewer Authority.
I thought you said that at the meeting too.
Yeah.
but in my notes, I said Bolton/Vernon.
Oh,
Bolton Lake,
Bolton Lakes
I just
Regional
don't know
Sewer
whether it's
Authority.
actually regional or just Bolton Lake.
Well, you could just say Bolton and Vernon.
That's kind of what I,
Yeah, I understand that. That's what I'm saying, is I understand why you're doing that.
I
That's
didn't
fine.
really know the formal name.
So let's stick the formal name in there. Has anybody Googled that?
The website's okay.
Well, is that the only organization we're going to deal with? Or is it also other parts of the town of Bolton or the town of Vernon?
Well, it says that and
They would
the
have the
state.
authority, so.
Okay.
I think
Towns
state
of the
needs to
state.
count.
State does need to be capitalized.
Yep.
So we could say Bolton Lakes Sewer Authority for now.
And that's Bolton Lake, singular or plural?
There's three
Plural.
lakes.
I know, but I didn't know what the name of the authority
Bolton
actually
I don't
Lakes
think it has an
Regional
S on
Water
it.
Pollution Control Authority.
Say that again?
I think they call them lakes, though. Because
Bolton
it's three
Lakes Regional
Bolton
Water
Lake Sewer
Pollution
Authority?
Control Authority,
Oh,
otherwise
thank you.
known as
Does it have
Bolton Lakes Regional WPCA. Oh, now it says regional. Yeah, regional.
Yeah.
Bolton Lakes Regional WPCA.
Thank you so much.
Don't thank me, thank you.
Plural lakes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bolton Lakes Regional WPCA.
BLRWPCA.
Yeah. Rolls off the tongue.
You thought our names were good.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, so the first bullet under here, continue to work with WPCA to determine how we can increase capacity and meet any new
Wait.
requirements that the state places on the operation of our sewer plant.
Power,
I had something in the bold part of that, the statement of the goal, down towards the end after Route 44 says, focus on the need to improve failed septic issues.
Systems?
Systems?
Well, I just wanted to, in my mind, it didn't paint too clear of a picture. Failed septic issues, to improve them. To provide solutions
Correct.
for,
Well, it's
support.
correct the
like-
issue, so it's not,
Correct.
we may not improve their system, we're going to replace it with a sewer. That's the difference.
Well, if it's failed, in that instance, you would not just want to improve it, right?
That's a replacement.
Right, so we're improving the issue.
Or substitution.
Yes,
We're
thank you.
improving the current situation, so you get.
Right, so that.
So correct failed septic
Situation.
Okay, correct failed septic systems?
Mm-hmm.
Did you say systems?
Is that how you talk about it? I don't know. I mean, I get the point. I'm not disagreeing with the point at all. I just want to read. So we
Fine.
can
We appreciate your
interpret it.
input, John, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next bullet, continue to support Main Street business development.
Keep going.
Work to promote and educate small and home businesses. Review the regional economic development plan and implement as appropriate. Now, this was the thing that the staff created, right?
No, CERC.
Yeah, that's,
But staff
CERC.
attended it? Is that,
More than just staff. That
I attended it. Lisa Conan attended it.
We had a big, we had
Matt,
60.
you were there.
60
Matt Senior was
people
That
there.
was the first
what
meeting
am
we
I
missed.
thinking of?
Yeah.
The,
Recently.
the first draft of it, the towns with staff are reviewing the first draft of the report.
Okay.
That's what you're thinking of. But it's, right now, it's kind of your bullet points before they write a lot of text.
Mhm. So the actual plan is not
Done
ready
yet.
for us to,
No.
okay.
It's kind of action bullet points, and they're gonna go through and add, correct, and then they'll draft the document around.
Okay. Next bullet point, continue to support both farmers markets and develop, strengthen.
And strengthen.
And develop and strengthen. Linkages to local businesses.
Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, so
Yeah,
farmers
forward.
is plural possessive. It needs an apostrophe after the S in farmers.
That's right.
Except veterans doesn't need that.
Hey, listen, I don't develop the language.
But is it possessive? Maybe we're just saying there are lots of farmers at the market.
There's
Continue to
more
support
than
both
some.
farmers
Just theirs.
markets. It's in their names. I wish there were more words here.
Move to approve the town council goals as amended.
Second.
Yay.
Second.
Thank you, everybody, for all your work and working together. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you, Rob.
Clap or something?
That was great.
All right, so, new business. Item 8A, 19/20-35, CROG RPIP draft resolution support documents.
I didn't get this in my packet at all. I didn't know it was a document. I should have read it off.
Right?
Oh, it's on the back page. Oh, it's on the back page of something. Never mind. Got it?
It's on the back page of what?
No, it's on
Right
my,
after the goals.
it's right after my
You
call.
have it, it's just one page.
Not this one.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, it is, okay.
So, if you want to take action on this, you'd have to move this resolution, otherwise we cannot. We actually had 4 RPIP grant applications, the other 2 wouldn't apply to us. The only 2 that would apply to us is the region-wide planimetric data, which would be part of our GIS system, and the school municipal back office consolidation cost benefit analysis and implementation plan that they want to do, which would then tie into one of your other goals, that they may do some study for you. But if we don't pass this resolution, we can't qualify for either of these.
I moved that we.
So the other one, I remember what one of them, the other one was of the 4, was transit-oriented design, which is along the railways, and obviously we don't have that, so.
Don't want to get off on our track.
Let's bring light rail
We
back to
adopted it.
Coventry.
Sorry? We adopted it, but the language isn't complete the way you said
Right,
it.
so you have to amend the minutes, and we didn't do the minutes because we skipped over them. They're on the agenda for minutes, and you didn't take any action.
So it's going to go out the way it is?
No.
It's gonna go out.
Well, what can we do about that?
We have to go back and...
Well, let's finish up.
Are we doing
Yeah.
something else here?
Yes.
No, this is
First?
No, we're on this in.
We're on the
performance
OPM
incentive.
Yeah,
regional
OPM Regional Performance Incentive Program. I was saying that.
And John Hand was starting to make a motion.
I make a motion that we adopt this resolution.
Do I
The
have a
OPM Regional Performance Incentive Program.
second?
Read the whole thing? Are we doing that?
You don't have to, I don't think.
John?
No? That's a
You
no.
don't have to read it, you're just adopting it as presented.
I move that we adopt this resolution as presented.
Do I have a second? Sure. Thank you, Lisa, for discussion. John, any cost or anything that we're not
No.
aware of?
Well, this just gets you in, if they get the grant, then we would have to then follow up and decide whether we want to participate once we get all the data on it. So
Okay.
basically, this is saying we're interested in it,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's further commitments as well if they get the grant.
What are the downsides?
I don't see any.
Nothing.
I mean, both of these would be valuable to us. The planimetric data is hard to understand, but it provides a wealth of knowledge that would be available online to everybody. Really enhance our GIS system.
Okay. Any other questions? All those in,
That like establish where street lines are, where building places are within it versus just kind of seeing a picture of it. Establish it, where it is.
all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So can we make a motion to add the toll resolution?
I think it's on the agenda in the minutes. You already adopted it.
Right.
So what you need to do is
Approve the
Final language.
amend the minutes. But where's the?
Minutes that we tabled.
Those are the minutes from the 23rd.
And you said you were bringing them tonight, John?
They're here.
Yep. So can I see the last copy? For some reason, can't put my hand on it.
Well, I mean, there's like 3 or 4 different versions of it because people kept changing, but.
So, Lisa, because I think I'm trying to help with the language. The point was that it's 10% of the, and what's the, Amanda, what would be the proper language of the approved general budget or something?
Yeah, 10%.
So 10% of the approved general budget, that would be the level that we're trying to maintain in that fund.
There's two. Send
Oh, there's
two
two.
to John.
There's two.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Send two
What
to
do I
Matthew.
get?
Those are both mine.
And you
And I
Set
got
of two.
There's different wording depending what time of day it was.
Well, the meaning is what we're trying to get to, so.
So I think this one is closer,
Okay.
right, to what I was trying to say. So my concern initially was the proposal on the table to use over $1 billion.
Right,
of
but
that
then
fund.
during our discussion, we talked
Right.
about maintaining a 10% level in that fund. And the 10% is 10% of the general budget, the approved general budget.
Because of the downside of being below 10.
Yeah, so it's
But then
the
how much-
recommended 10% actually, so.
How much does that then leave, how much of that state fund balance does that leave vulnerable to being taken?
Everything above 10%.
So that means 90% of the,
No.
No.
All right, explain it to me again.
So it's like our
If
town
they're at
fund balance,
14%.
our town fund balance is 13.5% or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same, theirs is 10% of their budget. Ours is 13.5% of our budget.
Okay.
So we're asking them to maintain it at a level of 10% of their.
So
And is that the recommended?
depends who you ask.
That would be, it's higher than it's ever been before in the history of Connecticut, except for today.
But that,
But, so
so like we're always we have a certain goal we're working
The
towards for our
state's
fund balance,
goal-
we're not there yet.
the state's goal was 15%.
Okay.
They have reached 15%, they reached it, they were gonna do that over like a 5 or 6 year period, and they reached it in 2.5. So we're saying, you could go back to where you thought you were gonna be, which would be, actually, they would have been below 10%.
Right.
We're saying, you're there, don't go backwards, but to answer your question right now, this would free up about 5% of the available, 5% versus.
1/3.
A third of it. They could.
Instead of more than half, which is what you were saying. And that's all your statement first said was, we don't want you to use more than half, or something. So this would be more restrictive than that.
Right. And
That's my job.
But I guess it's 10% of what you wanted to put in there, I thought.
so it would be,
So
so what's
you-
highlighted, this version with the highlighted
Yes.
red?
So, but it still
is
says in excess of 10%.
Better than this one.
Well,
Reduce the budget reserve fund balance below 10%, or utilize state fund balance in any amount in excess of 10%.
I don't care, I mean, it's fine, the yellow one is fine.
I like the utilize.
If you don't want to change it, then that's fine.
I like the utilize.
Are you
one.
comfortable with the way it is then?
The other thing though is, do we have some citation for some of the numbers in here, like the 7th highest rate in the country and
No, those are mine.
like language like diverted millions of dollars of other funds?
We could add that.
Because we talked about tightening things up and not having vague language in here. Or things that might, if you're gonna have hard data, where's
Or dynamic,
what's supporting
too.
it? Do you know what I mean? Like, so
Right.
to say,
In response to that, we actually eliminated a bunch of facts, and this is what we all agreed to leave, but now you want to cut it out. This is what we agreed to leave.
well, to be honest, and this is what I was saying earlier tonight, was we never had something to look at to see where we were at by the time we finished having a conversation.
Well, you just did that
So,
with goals.
Right, so with goals, we just went back to it all and made sure it was what we wanted and looked at it and were able to really tighten up and talk about it. We started with a lot of words on the page. That's all I'm saying. And I know that we already voted on this, so I don't even, I don't know that this can be amended. Because we're not in the minutes anymore.
Well, so that
Well, we
was.
tabled those minutes.
I understand, so I don't really know where that puts us.
Well, you could,
What we would have to do is, maybe we could reopen the minutes, approve that change,
Yeah.
and then close it, close it until, for the rest of the,
However it works.
but I thought that the place where there was any disagreement would be, because this originally wasn't put in at all. I contacted, as soon as I saw it, I said, John, we have to add this in.
Right.
So that's all we're trying to do is put back in what was missing from what we did approve already. So that would be this section. So I'm happy to make it more clear if you're not happy with the yellow.
No, the yellow is
That's
fine.
okay? Okay.
I was just concerned with some of the language, which I thought we had completely taken care of. Like when we say our charge the 7th highest rate in the country, like where is that coming from? Like you can't just throw something in here and not be able to support it.
I've read it, but I don't know, I can't tell you where I found it. I'm not the one to put it in. I'm just saying that I have read that more than once.
That's just a concern. I
share
think
the
it needs
concern.
to be accurate. So I would just take that out.
So just make it charge one of the highest rates in the country?
That's better.
Okay. Is that okay with you?
I thought we had already voted on it. I don't know. That's a substantive change, isn't it?
Yes. Well, I mean, adding the other languages, I suppose.
No, this language was in your discussion, clearly in your discussion.
Okay.
You know, it's on page
Oh, I see what you're
9
saying. Yeah,
and
so-
10.
Okay.
So that's just a correction of the minutes, because
Okay.
Right.
the minutes basically are reflecting this.
I mean, and I'll take responsibility. I should have asked to have the whole resolution read back.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody should have asked. I mean, the whole resolution should have been read back to us. I take responsibility for voting on something that I shouldn't have, I should have asked to have it read back to make sure it was what seemed right. But it is what it is. And in the future, I will know better.
So what do we need here?
So
So I
I move to amend the minutes of the special meeting on whatever date that is,
December 23rd.
December 23rd, to incorporate this additional language in the authorizing resolution that we passed. Does that make
which isn't
does that
actually
cover it?
in the minute.
Yeah, it's on page 9 of 10.
Oh, yes, it is.
Well, Matt O'Brien suggested changing language of resolve statement to include the matter, oppose any measure that would impose tolls or constituents or reduce the fund balance below 10%.
I think we clarified it was the budget reserve fund balance.
Instead makes of it, this makes it much less wordy. So this, is the essence of that. We
Yes.
had a debate of fund balance versus rainy day fund, so I parenthetically put it AKA rainy day fund, just so people would know what we're referencing.
But it is called, just for this purpose, we
Yeah.
should change it to the budget reserve fund, correct?
That's fine. Utilize,
Instead of rainy day fund.
No, he can still say rainy day fund, AKA
But
rainy day fund.
instead of state
Instead of
fund
state fund
balance.
balance, it should be the state budget revenue fund balance.
budget, revenue,
I believe that's the accurate
fund
name.
balance, AKA rainy day fund, any amount in excess of 10%.
Right.
Shocked there isn't an acronym for that. Just saying.
That's why they call it rainy day fund.
Yeah, I know.
And that's the
RDF.
wrong thing to ever call it,
Right,
Yeah.
because that's not what it is.
a reserve fund.
Okay. So you made the motion, Matt. Did anybody second that?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Just one question, is this how we do it, because we just tabled it? So can we,
I think you need to bring it off the table first.
that's what I'm saying, so do we
Yes.
need a motion to bring it off the table? So I make a motion to move the minutes of the December 23rd meeting, a special meeting off the table.
Bring it back.
Bring it
Pick
back.
it up.
Yeah. Second.
Now that's
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 And then I make the motion to amend the minutes to reflect this language that we're incorporating into the authorizing resolution. And it could appear on page 9 of 10.
Yes.
Well, I have it highlighted where, what John's reading,
Mhm.
so, and I think that was pretty accurate to what I said.
Second.
We're going to change it
Oh, you're
to,
gonna-
or utilize state budget revenue fund balance, AKA rainy day fund, in any amount in excess of 10%.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed?
Opposed? Abstentions?
Abstain.
So I'm trying to get you there. Now I move to table the remainder of the minutes of December 23rd to the next meeting.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, abstained?
Okay. What do I have to read? Where is this stuff? So we already got it?
Find it, or do you want it?
I don't have it yet.
Are you reading to go into executive session?
Here we go.
I move that the town council enter into executive session pursuant to Connecticut General Statutes 1-206A, discussion concerning the employment, appointment, performance evaluation, health, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, with the following in attendance: all council members plus town manager John L. Sesser.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
I move that the town council enter executive session pursuant to Connecticut General Statutes 1-206D, discussion of selection of a site or the lease, sale, or purchase of real estate by a political subdivision of the state when publicity regarding such a site, lease, sale, purchase, or construction would cause a likelihood of an increased price till such time as all the property has been acquired or all proceedings or transactions concerning same have been terminated or abandoned, with the following people in attendance. Do you need to be here for that one? Okay. Jen, would you like Amanda here for that one?
No.
Okay, 7 members of the town, 6 members present of the town council and the town manager. Second.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Now I move that the town council enter an executive session pursuant to Connecticut General Statute 1-206E, discussion of any matter which would result in the disclosure of public records or the information therein contained described in subsection B of section 1 of I-1 through 10, with the following people in attendance: 6 members of the town council present and the town manager.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye.